Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to another live VIP. So I say live VIP. Welcome back to another broadcast here on the CranKy Ducklings. I'm of course host live VIP. With me, I'm joined by these amazing commentators, joined by Tasteless and Gemini tonight for the RSL, the Revival StarCraft League Season 2 playoffs. Let's go. Day number three here. As I should, of course, turn on their audio. But yes, we're here with day number 3. It looks like State is going to be taking this day off, or he might be joining us a little bit later on. But now we do have instead Gemini and Tasteless as we have our playoffs underway. Over the past couple of days, we did wrap up with the upper bracket quarterfinals. You can see here that Cure took down SHIN, Zhang took down Reynor, Classic took down Trigger, and Maru took down ByuN. So we do have our 4 players advancing on into the next round, but we are now here to determine which players will be removed from the tournament, as this is double elimination. So now up next, we do have the lower bracket matches, 2 elimination matches. Oh boy, it's going to be a ZVZ between SHIN and Reynor, followed by a TVP between ByuN and Trigger. So we have 2 series back-to-back, 2 best-of-5s. Only 2 best-of-5s. I know that's not many matches per broadcast day. On the one hand, it means this tournament ends a little bit earlier, which is nice. On the other hand, I mean, we have more casting to do anyway. You know, we have Maestros of the game right after this in 3 hours' time. Hopefully, this event doesn't run too long, so we can just go straight into Maestros. Hopefully, it doesn't overlap. We're playing it close, playing it very, very close here. I mean, I do expect this first series to be a fast one, to be honest. Meanwhile, they're just going over the format here. Again, we have 3 seasons of RSL. This is season 2. We have 1 more season after this, and then we have the end of year finals. That's going to be an offline event with a venue, good and all. And that's going to be at the end of the year. Dates and confirmation still to be confirmed, of course. Well, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Special partner here for the RSL. They're making the StarCraft tabletop miniatures game. They reached out to us before we started season 1 and offered to support our tournament. I didn't even know that they were making the StarCraft tabletop miniatures game. It looks amazing. They've got a ton of other great products on their site, so definitely check them out. They're the premier.
One of their main sponsors, of course, is the Archon Studio, is the SE2 tabletop miniatures game. I'm still hoping that they have like a painting stream and they showcase the miniatures one day.
Coming onto our Patreon and enjoying it very much, and we've got plenty of different tiers to go for. Lots of different things to get from our Patreon. We would love it if you would help support us with this endeavor that we're doing here. You can vote for maps, you can vote for players, you can get replays every week. You can just talk in our Discord if you want and have fun with us, all that kind of stuff. So
definitely do that. that's the best part. We've got a ton of people that are joining.
Please, it was a big announcement. What was it? I missed it. What?
You know,
what are they talking about?
I mean, the bad news is that we don't have the same kind of support from Blizzard that we had in most of the existence of StarCraft 2. But the good news is it doesn't have to go away. We just have to rely on the community to support it. So. We've also got
if you want to help support the community, exclamation mark Patreon in the chat for the Patreon for us alongside, of course, RSL. They have their own Patreon as well. When it comes to funding the main event, of course, they've gotten a lot of support on Patreon, and we'll see what more content we get out of RSL in the future. Hoping they get more.
Absolutely everywhere, so we would love it if you could go ahead and subscribe over there. Leave a like, leave a comment.
Exclamation mark YouTube.
Everyone likes to read the comments in these videos. We'll do that
all
too.
The Philosopher Kings in the comments, go make your point there. When I really got to get to the bottom of something, you know, I go, well, what are the people in the YouTube comment section saying? There's a
Philosopher Kings.
But we do need to actually grow this YouTube, so please consider subscribing. Do leave a comment, like a video, whatever. We think in the future, in order for this thing to grow, it has to have a big YouTube presence. A lot of people that consume StarCraft are older. They've got jobs. They've got kids. You know, all that stuff.
For those who are unaware, the presence and the fan base and the viewer base on YouTube is huge. It far surpasses Twitch. Twitch is like maybe what, a fifth of the size, if not less. Like it's the amount of viewership, the amount of people that are watching StarCraft on YouTube is insane. And they're touching on that. It is really important that you're able to get a presence on YouTube, to be able to actually reach those people and actually be part of that. But we already have our first series. Where are the vetoes? What?
Remember that the loser of this series is eliminated. So it's going to be.
Am I crazy? They didn't show the vetoes. They just jumped in.
Persephone's going to be the first map.
Where was the setup?
I think Is this the first CVZ we've had this season? Not to put you on the spot, but I feel like this might be one of the first. Because I think it was only one group, or there was only one Zerg in each group. Yeah, there were no ZVZs in the group.
Anyway, we're jumping in. Top left-hand corner, we do have a SHIN for Weibo Gaming. Bottom left, we do have Reynor for Basilisk. Here we go. Also, if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we are getting into our fresh best of 5. Remember, this is going to be an elimination match. Elimination match here for us. When it comes to DVZ, we do expect this to be a very short series. We expect this to be very intense, very high octane. We'll do our best to keep an eye on the gas timings here of the 2 players to see whether or not they do cut some corners, skip out on Roach Warrens, go for earlier Bailey Nest, if they go for earlier Evo Chambers, or even skip their third bases. We'll do our best to keep up as, for the time being, Hatch Gas Pool.
Throwing out some very interesting styles, able to do some cool stuff, and so we'll see if he's able to bring that out today, or if it will be another Reynor story coming into this lower bracket.
Yeah, so, you know, for now we got to see, are there going to be any major deviations here in the build orders? And, you know, ZVZ I think is, you know, been a pretty interesting matchup. Honestly, in the current state of StarCraft, I feel like all the mirror matchups are in pretty interesting spots. But yeah, we're kind of waiting. Right now, the builds are mirroring each other, so there's not really anything to analyze until we see that that branch off for one of them.
I do love watching the ZVZ Ling Bane Wars. It's definitely one of my most favorite things to watch. I love the explosivity.
We might see a little bit of Ling Bane. Like right now, as I'm mentioning, we're kind of waiting to see that big deviation from our players, which we are expecting from both of them as well. SHIN and Reynor, they're not known for their standard safe macro play in ZVZ. Reynor typically takes the reins when it comes to being the aggressor, but because both SHIN and Reynor have similar styles, or at least they prefer being the aggressor, then that might actually change the dynamic a little bit. I'm curious to see if Reynor wants to try to react to what SHIN does instead.
Engaging each other. StarCraft 2 is kind of known as the fastest of all the RTSs, if that makes sense. Like, things really pick up. You can, like, have your screen in the wrong spot and possibly just lose the game outright, depending on...
Okay, third base is being taken.
Drops as an example, but Ling Baneling is absolutely one of those as well. So for now in this game, they're both taking the third base.
Safety Baneliness, everything's looking standard.
Started, but we also see there is one about to start over here for Reynor, so we haven't had that branch off yet. Just Reynor coming in here, spotting that third hatchery. And we're going to basically either see more drones get created or someone's going to go hard in the paint with Lings.
Hard in the paint, indeed.
That's right.
Very curious if they're actually going to do that. Just a couple coming out for both players. Basically just, oh, never mind. There it is. There's the hard in the paint. Reynor's going hard in the paint.
We only got 2 Lings here for SHIN.
Yeah, we're going to see.
If we don't see more, okay, so he's starting to make his own. But 18 is way more than 10.
So we do have an early Ling surge here by Reynor. We'll see what pressure he can apply. I say pressure because behind this he should be droning.
Quick maths coming out from Tasteless over here.
Tasteless casting the game, doing math stuff. You know, he's kind of he's a jack of all trades.
He's studied in multiple subjects in college, you know.
We'll be trying. I'm one of those Philosopher Kings YouTube comments even. We're gonna have a big attack coming up here. Reynor's headed north. He's going to try to hit this base. He hid 2 Lings over here on the side. Those are the 2 that scouted earlier. And he's going to try to come in here. Now, there's a makeshift wall. Oh, my God, actually.
Bailey's get past.
They all just go past each other, and they get stuck on the queens. A bit unfortunate. But a nice Baneling connection on a few of them. We'll be able to kill some of those Banelings, but Reynor has to run away quickly to not lose all of the other ones. Will he be able to keep this momentum up? It doesn't look like he's actually trying to, because he is droning behind this. He doesn't want to full commit, just seeing as much get as much damage as possible while forcing a lot of mistakes out of SHIN.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know, man. SHIN looks like he's in pretty good shape here. He really hasn't taken that much damage.
So winding it back here, SHIN, he had a really nice defense at his natural base. He was able to zone away the Ling Bane, but did just lose 1 queen. 1 queen did just go down. We do see that behind this, Reynor has been droning quite heavily, and Reynor, he's extending his economic lead. Now, what's important, though, is that SHIN has been making his army. He's making roaches behind this, and SHIN can turn this into an all-in.
The back end as well. And during all of this, like I was saying, Reynor just switched back into drones, so now he's got a solid 42 to 33 drone lead.
No roach one for Reynor.
Now going back.
Here comes the all-in.
Himself, realizing that SHIN also was not really making too many drones at that point. Going into the fast roaches just to make sure he's not going to die to any counterattack, and then he should be feeling safe to continue on to the mid game.
Yeah, I would say SHIN's in pretty good shape right now. He's actually getting several more drones up here. Raynor actually did have the worker count lead.
SHIN, I thought he was going to go for a counterattack. Because SHIN is droning, he's playing from behind. So SHIN, economically, he's playing catch-up here. And oh, he's going to get surrounded as well.
These roaches, I don't see Banelings with him yet. So he's going to come in here. Banelings actually turning around for... Ooh, Raynor's so crafty with these little counterattacks here. But so far, honestly, SHIN's defense has been very good.
Yeah, it's a solid defense. We do still have Reynor, though, very far ahead in terms of the lair timing. His is almost 75% done at this point, whereas SHIN is just starting.
Again, because of Raynor's better economy, that's why his lair is faster, that's why his Evo chamber is faster, that's why his upgrades are going to be faster.
And just because his Roach Warren was a little bit later, sure, he's going to have a few less roaches at the beginning, but it will still allow him to get a good amount out later in the game, while still getting good roach speed timing and stuff like that. And even able to get a few more drone kills with these just random lings running into the third base will be able to net him a nice, decent economy situation, as he's going to be able to get more of those as well. But there's that +1 and roach speed coming in right away for Reynor. We'll have a massive lead on that, almost suiciding all those banelings, or those lings, rather.
For the time being, SHIN has defended very well. He's continuing to drone up here. Now actually ahead of Reynor, 62 to 58 workers. And he's going to be getting that missile attack upgrade. The same can be said for Reynor, though. Yeah, it does seem like the game is finally quieted down. Reynor does take a 4th hatchery. Oh, the lings get in. Oh. Okay, they're going to go right into the main. This could be a lot of damage.
Reynor, he's got 4 overlords on the way as well. He was supply blocked, but I'm curious to see if Raynor's just going to double down on army production.
He's only bringing the banelings, knowing that can actually deal with this by themselves, making sure that the roaches at the front can't do anything. Since SHIN has
on the way.
Overlord spread, he's able to actually see that movement.
Reynor, he's not droning.
Nice defense in that regard, but this is still wasting a lot of mining time in the main base.
Reynor, he's down in workers. He's massing up more roaches.
Tiniest of margins, literally a pixels off of being able to see them.
You just can't see that.
No way. If this actually nets an insane amount of damage, it's going to be wild. Here they come into the main base. SHIN not paying attention to the last second, but 7 of them getting killed off in total. A nice play by Reynor.
And remember, Reynor, he's going for a big push. Remember, Reynor, he has not droned for the past 2 minutes, or a minute and a half at this point, making nothing but roaches. +1 is about to kick in, and there's going to be this small window where he has +1 over his opponent.
You know, it's like a beautiful layup, right? Those banelings killing the 7 drones as this attack is outbound. I mean, maybe he holds it, but this looks like it's going to be very, very tough to stop.
Yeah, this should be game.
He doesn't even have roach speed down. GG. Realizing right that second, SHIN has completely been outplayed and outmanipulated in this game. Very nice play by Reynor overall. I think that really kind of tells the story of what their last couple of series have looked like, where Reynor is just really capable of throwing out certain types of aggression while being able to macro safely behind it to allow himself to just kind of catapult ahead in other ways. Getting that faster lair, getting the faster drone counts, so that way his income kind of boosts up quicker, so that way he can then go for that huge roach flood later on in the game. So just very nice overall play by Reynor.
Yeah, I mean, it looked really... He's caught me off guard. I was like, I thought it was like an alarm in the building. I'm like, oh, the building's on fire. We got to run out. What was I saying? Yeah, I mean, it was an impressive game overall. I hope that we can have a closer match.
Yeah.
Sometimes you look at like game 1 best 5, you go,
Again, when it came to that last game, it was quite intense between the 2 players. Reynor was just able to get a really early economic lead. A lot of it came down to his Link Bane aggression. As we were pointing out, he took like a 10-worker lead during that Link Bane aggression, where he was able to comfortably, I mean, we spoke about he had the earlier +1 timing, earlier speed timing as well, right? And with that, just snowballed out of control. SHIN, unfortunately, he was falling behind economically, so he had to replace all those workers he was losing. Likewise, he had just lost the 7 drones in the main base to the mainly run by as well. On top of that, SHIN was also being cheeky by taking up into the Spire. Reynor didn't even know that was happening, and even if there wasn't a Spire, I feel like Reynor would have ended the game anyway, but that also didn't help SHIN.
Going into the next phase, which is all those roaches, all the upgrades and everything.
It's a hard thing to capture sometimes when you're seeing a game, but like basically the ebb and flow of how Reynor developed was perfect. So yeah, fingers crossed here. We're gonna go to how does Sturgeon say this map?
He said Tomahawk the first time, and that was...
He said Tomahawk. How do we say this map now?
It's Tokamak.
Tokamak.
Tokamak, one of those two.
Tokamak.
Yeah. Pick your poison. Toko. Whatever you want.
This is the first time they've been casting on this map. What?
I feel like we've done this
12
every
let's
single
go.
time this has come
Yeah,
up.
No
it's
drones!
never been funny.
Reynor!
Every time
He's
we do
going
it,
for the
just everybody's
12
at home
pool.
watching blankly.
He's crazy.
Seriously, blankly waiting for the
12.
These
Does he
people
pull the
have, like, an
boys?
elementary school level of
Well,
education.
definitely.
So
it's
how long will it take the
high school
casters to
here
realize
at
that there's a
RSL.
12 pool going on?
Excuse me. So
They should be. They should
we're
know.
gonna go.
You can see Mapple's trying to
into,
zoom in. He's trying to point it
this
out.
Game 2, and
That's an early
wait,
pull.
that's an early pull.
Yeah, they
So,
figured it out. They got
guess
it.
what? We're not going to be just looking at the production tab and waiting for something to change. Reynor's going to go for a little rush.
A little rush. That's what they call them.
Now,
We're gonna rush some
remember,
drones
12
over
pulls
the
are
other
not
side
all
of the
in.
space.
They're not all in. You do typically expand
We'll
with
see
a
if he's
12
gonna
pull
be a
unless you're
drone
going
pull
for a
with it as well.
12-11,
That's
or
obviously
unless you're going for
something
like a
that always
13-12, of course. So we'll see if Reynor does pull the boys. Ooh, he sends the drones across the map. He's crazy. Oh, let's go. He's committing.
Yeah, I
Spine
guess so.
rush?
We'll see. If
This has
ends
to be
up
for the
working.
spine rush.
Shin sometimes
Okay.
likes to go for this type of aggressive stuff too every now and then. So obviously both players are very well versed in these styles. So we'll see if Shin's response is up to snuff.
Show us the drone.
I haven't. I feel like. At least
Oh,
the
we're
games I
sneaking
cast, I
in.
haven't
Oh, let's go.
He's gonna cancel and make a
Remember,
spine.
yeah, he can cancel, make a spine.
that makes
Or
more
not.
The spine rush. There it is.
Yeah, okay, it's just okay because the vision was kind of confusing me. Oh, wait, no, it is still there. What is he
Yep.
doing? Oh, he messed it up the first time.
No, he
messed
did
it up 2
not.
times
He
in a row.
misses.
Oh
my God, he messed it up.
Oh,
He
that's
missed
so
the
brutal. He makes the
spine.
hatchery back at home immediately afterwards,
Oh,
realizing it.
no.
Oh, that's so
Oh, my
brutal.
God.
He actually messed it up twice because the production tab actually had to cancel once, 2 times in a row, but the vision was coming from Shin, so we didn't actually see
that
that.
is
He's gonna try to
brutal.
make it to the main base, but I feel like at this point, it's been totally blown. The cover's been totally he sees exactly what's
That's
happening
the
at this point. So that is a brutal scenario for Reynor, and he's gonna have to now recover from this awkward situation.
Now remember,
The
that was
exact right number
2
of drones,
cancellations
3
on the
double
hatchery as
damage
well.
down.
Like he
The
messed it
drone
up twice.
I mean, I guess he can make a spine down here now.
He's just gonna bring it home. I think you kind of have to just abort at this point as
Like,
Reynor.
or he could build an extractor there. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff you could do.
Okay,
Um,
gets 2 drones.
Well, this is
Something.
really good for Shin.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean the lane count is gonna be perfect. He's kept most of his drones alive, only losing 2, which is quite good. He's still up a solid amount of drones. Gonna continue to make more of them. And Shin should be feeling very comfortable, especially now that this queen has arrived. This is looking like an excellent defense coming out of Shin.
So, I mean, now the game's going to normalize a bit, but it's undeniable right now that, Reynor's in a very, very bad position here.
Top with 250 ping. Both of them are playing with high ping. Bear that in mind. They're both playing on NA servers.
How few lings Shin has, but I mean, anything he gets here.
We don't need to cope in the chat. It's like
That micro was so good. by
Reynor
Shin.
has 17 workers. There's 23 here for Shin.
Reynor, he's jet lagged. He just got off the plane. Didn't get to sleep last night. True.
Massive. That was some really slick micro from Shin on that one drone.
The kitchen's on fire.
Thing counts at this point, of course, because Shin wants.
He
to
left
keep
the
his
washing machine
economic
on, like,
need
I-
that he's accrued for himself. A solid 8-7 workers or so ahead is going to be
Oh,
super
ninja
good
base,
for him.
let's go.
Wow, Reynor going for a ninja base in ZVZ on the bottom right-hand side of the map. That is not something
yeah.
you see very often.
I think this is one of the best possible moves. I think your cheese,
I mean, you gotta do something. You gotta do
failed.
something here.
That is probably the best time to hide a base.
yeah.
Right? Like otherwise you're just playing from behind in a very straightforward game. Take that base in the bottom right. And a lot of games, I mean, even speaking from experience, is where you think you have a read on exactly where they're at, and you think, okay, well, this game's really their problem. They have to do something, and you're like, oh no, they're literally ahead of me in a base.
Yeah.
This is terrible. So I mean, it could cost Shin the game if he doesn't find that.
Yeah, it's going to be very awkward, though.
So coming into this, Shin does have a very nice lead.
suspicious, I'd say, from
As they're
Shin
kind of
when
pointing
he
out, Shin, he's happily mining on 2 bases. He's getting his 3rd base. Because his 3rd base is closer to his natural, he can just saturate. He can just transfer, just saturate his bases as well, a little bit easier. So he will have the boosted economy. But if Shin overreacts to the 2-base setup, if he believes that Reynor is going for a 2-base all-in, and if he believes that Reynor isn't expanding, then there is a chance here that maybe Shin doesn't drone, that maybe Shin overreacts, and then Reynor can recover in this game. So there is potential with the ninja base.
At the proxy nexus as well. So in ZVZ though, doing this kind of a play is extremely interesting, and so I really want Reynor to just survive, just to see how this works. I don't want Shin to just be like, oh, I can just all in you and win, and just kill him. I want to see if this actually ends up working and tricking Shin in this match.
Okay, excuse me. So there's a chance that Shin is gonna wind up here for some kind of an attack, but then if he only sees 2 bases, he might not, right? Like if you have 3 bases, they have 2. You're probably sitting back thinking, okay, he's gonna maybe tech to mutas. Or
Yeah.
Something's coming, right? You don't just stay on 2 bases and don't do anything.
Yeah, that's exactly what this
unfortunately for Reynor, Shin is droning.
Yeah.
Like Shin, he's droning, he's saturating. Shin, he is really just calming down.
Some fast muta play coming off of 4 gases. Yes, it is 4 gases, but it's not for mutas. It's with a 3rd base that's before Shin's, and the worker count is completely even at this point.
So I guess
Shin is totally unaware.
Yeah, so I guess what he wants to do is actually just go for roaches of his own, and which from Shin's perspective, if he only sees 2 bases.
So again, as you're seeing here, Reynor's droning, and he's getting away with droning, and Shin, he's not. Because again, Shin, he believes that he doesn't need to drone because he's already up in expansion, he just has to play safe. So Shin is playing safe, Reynor can take advantage of that, and so far he is taking advantage of
Looks like
that.
he's trying to send out a drone right now, so it's actually exactly the time when. Looks like he'll be trying to put that down there. We'll be getting the lair a little bit later than his opponent, of course, but of course things have to get cut here and there to be able to get this to work. So the speed coming in for Shin will be quicker. Actually, was that a kill on that hatchery? It doesn't look like the drone was somewhere, but perhaps not. Anyways, we do have like I said, the roach speed coming in much quicker for Shin, so he's gonna maybe find a timing with that, similar to how Reynor found such a large timing with it in the first game.
He barely doesn't see.
Oh my God, he just doesn't see
Barely
that.
not.
That's so brutal.
And look at this, Reynor, he's up by 10 workers. Like Reynor, he has now taken an economic lead, and this should not have happened, but Shin, he did over-prepare, he's being overly safe.
Why would you ever think no one does this in CVZ? Why would you ever expect it?
This should be done more
So
often.
if Shin doesn't move out, then Reynor can take a lead, but that's only if Shin doesn't push, because Shin, he has been cutting workers, making this army, getting ready for a defense, and now he can turn this defense into an offense. He's pushing. So Reynor, he was hoping that Shin would be more passive.
Kind of standard-ish in ZVZ at least, like kind of comes in every now and then. So doing it with a fast hit in thirds, like I feel like that could kind of catch people off. It's not the worst thing, but now Shin comes over here, cancels his third again, and it's gonna be like, well, what the hell are you doing, man? Like, where's your stuff? And at this point, though, Reynor needs to make sure.
Roach horn?
Oh god,
that's actually really funny.
Brutal. Denies speed.
So Shin's gonna come in here and hit. Now Shin does have more supply.
He's going in.
This game we may never see Shin actually find this 3rd base. He might just win too.
It's true, he might.
He's gonna be so confused when he looks at the replay. He's like, wait, what?
Yeah. How does he have so much stuff still? I do like that, just exploiting the wall in play here. More roaches are going to come up. I can't tell who's winning because there's too many overlords, so we'll have to actually see what's going on. I think Blue has more.
I think the reinforcements are coming in pretty nicely for Reynor, though, and with the Queen, it's going to be kind of nice. Oh, there's reinforcements coming in the bottom side. Never mind. That's where all those are coming from. So actually, that's going to make it even worse for Reynor. They're slow walking all the way up to the natural, and that's not going to work out very well at all. Shin is overrunning this position at this point. The Queens doing what they can to keep and buy as much time as possible. Shin's going to see these roaches
the reinforcements,
coming from the bottom.
let's go.
What the hell are these coming from? Where do these come?
They come in from
I don't
behind.
even understand at this point. And it's going to be kind of a hold-ish, I guess, for Reynor until some more of these roaches from Shin get across the map. But this is just a very prolonged roach versus roach fight that surely shouldn't be going Reynor's favor unless...
I mean, the reinforcements are really awkward for Reynor, but he was able to reinforce Reynor. He still has the better economy. The longer this goes on, the better it is for Reynor, and Reynor, he's surviving.
Like, how is he just... Like, the math doesn't add up. How does he still have enough to fight me?
I have been in this situation so many times. The exact same thing where it's like you're just rallying and rallying and rallying. Like, you've been on 2 bases for the whole... How are you defending my push? Like, how is it
he needs a little bit more time. A little bit more.
Wait a minute.
Wait a second.
And then you, like, send one worker out and you go, oh, when you click on the minerals, they're like almost all gone. Like, the whole game he had the hidden base.
I mean, he's kind of... I mean, he's got the one... He had the 1-1 advantage.
Remember, Reynor, he can afford to lose some workers.
He's pulling drones to really continue to help with this
and Reynor, he's holding.
Now Shin has the +2 lead, though, which is going to make it much more difficult. But, I mean, Reynor's holding. He's actually managed to somehow get everything together and hold. Shin is gonna see these roaches again come from the bottom side of the map.
And now he knows.
Surely he must realize at this point that something is happening. As another one makes its name shown. So Shin must, at this point, Come on, go over. Yeah, there you go.
He's like, no, he's like, come, follow me. I'll show you my hidden base.
You want to see why I'm still in this game? Come look. Yeah,
okay, now
the secret's out.
Now SHIN is sad. He's going, seriously, man? Oh, my God. This slippery guy.
Well, now Reynor's got to get the rest of his stuff from his main.
Can Reynor defend the expansion, though?
Third base instead of the other way around to be able to keep defending. And honestly, he is still doing that stuff coming from the top. Will be able to help reinforce this. Somehow, Reynor has a supply lead through all of this, and it still has a drone lead this entire time as well, by the way. Now, finally, SHIN getting some of these roaches up nice and close, gets one of those Ravagers. A lot of these roaches from Reynor are very weakened and will start to get picked off one by one as the others still trailing from the main and natural.
It's still so difficult for Reynor to reinforce this position. Again, because of the ninja base, it takes so long for the rally.
Should be the tipping point.
It takes so long.
He just has enough roaches. The reinforcements aren't quite able to get there. I mean, this kind of shows you why you don't generally expand too far away, right? It's too much of a strain to try to protect two places at once. Reynor's sending some more roaches down here, but I don't see more trickling down on the mini-map, so I think that this is going to be...
Yeah, this one he's breaking the base.
At least the moment where this base goes down, we'll probably have to see these drones pulled.
And with this base going down, it'll lose all the workers as well.
I'm assuming since there's only a few.
And again, that's the one base that's keeping Reynor in this.
It's really
gonna get out of here
now for Reynor. Knows that he
Does
is
save the
sending
boys.
those back over to the new real third position. So we'll be able to keep some of those alive. But at this point, SHIN has finally broken him and finally gotten a solid lead in the army count. Just continually sending units across the map that entire last seeming like 3 minutes of the game, it felt like. But now we'll actually get everything together, kills off that base, and should now be able to regroup. Although now Reynor, with all that time bot, did actually get his own +2 finished as well. So now he's back to having an upgrade lead with the Carapace. So if he can also get a large amount of units out, perhaps he can actually get the defense again. But it feels like at this point for SHIN, the army lead has really surpassed what Reynor could possibly have.
Again, this was a really impressive game here from Reynor, where he was able to find a way to almost recover, and almost bounce back in this game with the ninja base. And you saw that it was so close. It was so very close. If SHIN had attacked any sooner, then he would have just ended the game then and there. Even here, it's still too much. Like, even here, SHIN was still able to punish and still able to break the defensive line of Reynor. But Reynor, he made it as close as possible. As close as possible here.
He's going to just go right on in. The reinforcements are going to be here for Reynor, of course, but I think the numbers are finally going to be too strong. I spoke too soon.
The Queens are helping to support. Rush transfuse.
Especially if they start to eat ByuNs right in front of them.
Oh my
and
God.
Reynor holds again.
So,
he's holding on.
It's funny because, you know,
now,
on paper, there's been
this defense is really important because the economies are neck and neck now. Like, now there's no big economic advantage here for SHIN. On top, or for Reynor, I should say. On top of that, now Reynor can actually reinforce his third base. And it's so crucial that he saved his drones earlier. So, like, Reynor, he's back in this.
That's definitely going to be favored for Reynor, but maybe the math just works out to where it doesn't matter. You can take a bad engage and still overpower him. So, I mean, he's got one more base. That's just now finishing as I'm finishing the sentence. And the new hatchery for Reynor has started. So Reynor's like, it's pretty even is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, it's doing well. I mean, the fact that he has that one extra upgrade lead is actually helping out so significantly in these fights. And it really didn't help that SHIN was eating a couple ByuNs towards the end of that fight as well. That was not exactly what you need to have in some of these roach fights.
Yeah, true, the ping. True.
Is going to be very impactful. We haven't a drop overlord getting made. We're going to drop a couple roaches in a mineral line, perhaps, as Reynor would be very cool to see, as that is definitely something to kind of put the pressure back on SHIN a little bit, since he's the one that's been full-on aggression ever since the botched proxy spine play coming out of Reynor. It would be nice if Reynor could actually get something across the other side of the map here, and so that's going to be one way they could potentially do that. Let's see what's actually loaded up in there. Will be those 4 roaches, so it will be a roach drop harass coming in, and we'll see if he's able to find any type of opening with that play.
Yeah, and from here, we're kind of like stabilizing between the two players. Both players are going into drop lords, so we have drop lords from Reynor, we have drop lords from SHIN, we have tunneling claw roaches and burrow as well. So SHIN, he's investing even harder into different ways to counterattack and harass. Meanwhile, Reynor, he did invest into drop lords, but now he's going into hydras. So Reynor, he's taking further in towards lurker tech, into a greater composition.
Send 20 roaches to defend.
SHIN, he's committing into Roach Ravager.
Hit somewhere else, so we'll be on the lookout for that. I mean, seeing the drop overlord definitely.
But again, the game has stabilized.
To come.
It looks like he's just going to drop them over on the right-hand side, perhaps, and just kind of keep them there for now. But it's going to be basically going into a solid mid and late game here for both players. They're going to be able to max out, surprisingly enough. Really didn't think we would end up in this position, given how good SHIN was looking towards the earlier stages of this game. But both players will get into a solid position here. Burrow will be finished for SHIN as well, so that's going to generally help for different types of harassment plays, because Tunneling Claws also
Reynor's
about to
pushing
finish
down the
up as
center.
well, so
SHIN
you
is
could always
maxed out.
Burrow some roaches, send them into the mineral lines there as well.
Upgrades are neck and
now
neck.
is when Reynor's going to spring his trap, going in for that Overlord drop while sending around the other part of his main army to try and look for any type of opening. SHIN will match him right at the front, doesn't want to engage in that as Reynor, because he knows this drop is going to start to cause chaos in the back.
Okay, so the roaches are going to come over here. Queen not even activated yet to defend. Here he comes now. And meanwhile, Reynor, just north of this position, is going to try to pour into that base that's most on the outside. And man, this angle is actually really good for Reynor. The hatchery kind of...
Yeah, he's already made it in.
The way it's placed here doesn't really allow SHIN a whole lot of room. The bile is going to be very punishing if he actually commits in there. Decent control here. Again, it's one of those moments that arc is looking really, really nice here for Reynor. Is SHIN actually going to die?
Oh, he's going to get the expansion.
The hatchery's going to go down, which is all he really needed to do. He doesn't need to close the game out. He just has to poke that out. Roaches are going to target down this queen. SHIN's going to come in here and try to catch this. There's a lot more Ravagers here. Oh, nice targeting here from Reynor.
Yeah, I love that. Splitting up just a couple roaches to get those target fires onto the Ravagers. Very nicely done. The micro from Reynor in these fights feels like it's kind of doing more than SHIN is able to do in some of these. It feels like he's really putting much more focus on that. SHIN, of course, is trying to send these burrowed roaches all over the place to do a similar amount of chaos to what Reynor was kind of doing just before with the drop Overlord. But now I mean, Reynor's coming out pretty well ahead in this situation, getting that base, doesn't lose a large majority of his army, and maintains the 2-2 upgrade lead at this point. SHIN coming in from the back with some of the roaches, but they're kind of move commanding for a long time. So those are just kind of die quickly in the back end, and now Reynor is really skyrocketing in supply, coming back from a ridiculous game with a failed proxy hatch spine rush, hiding a base in the bottom right, and now he's actually winning.
This is insane. This is like such a crazy comeback that you almost don't really have games like this.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the very start. That drone.
Oh my God.
He tried it twice and it
didn't
work.
Yeah.
The idea is you cancel the hatchery. There's just enough.
But GG, well played. Very impressive comeback there by Reynor. Again, it was a really risky maneuver going for the ninja base, but it paid off. It did pay off. As a reminder, because of that ninja base, Reynor was able to drone and get a better economy. He was up by, like, I want to say almost 10 workers compared to SHIN. SHIN, he under-droned because he believed that he didn't have to make workers because he saw there was no third expansion. So SHIN, he stayed on a low drone count, build up an army. By the time he realized that something was a little bit wrong, he was, you know, pushing with his forces, pushing into the natural base, and thanks to the greater economy, Reynor was barely able to hold on. I don't want to say it was purely because of the ninja base, but also because of Reynor's control, because of his micro, alongside the boosted economy because of that ninja base. Eventually it went down, but by the time it did, Reynor, he was able to buy enough time, he was able to distract the army and actually force it to be in the lower half of the map. He was able to expand, he saved most of his workers, and he was able to actually stabilize from there. From there, we had more of a back and forth, and Reynor was able to kind of flex his greater army control against SHIN. SHIN had potential with the Tunneling Claw roaches and with the drop play. It was getting some damage, but nowhere near enough. Nowhere near enough. We saw that Reynor, he had Spine Crawlers back of him to defend his fringe bases, so he was fine against the Tunneling Claw roaches. He did have Hydra tech, but he didn't invest into Hydras, just committed with Roach Ravager and just out-controlled SHIN. Better concave, better positioning. GG. GG, well played. With that, Reynor takes the 2-0 lead, and now we're getting into game number 2. Now, if you remember, I'm not privy to the vetoes. I don't know if the vetoes are on Wikipedia. I'll double check, because I don't think we've actually seen the map order yet. Yeah, we haven't seen it yet. So I'm not sure what game 2 is going to be, but again, it doesn't really bode too well here. I say but it doesn't bode well. A lot of this game did just come down to the lack of information that SHIN had, and I'm sure now, for the next game and moving forward, he's going to be a lot more adamant about scouting for something like ninja bases. Oh, as we are going to a break. With that, we're going to be going on a short break. We'll see you guys soon for the remainder of the series. See you soon. And we're back, and we are back here. We are mid-series between Reynor and SHIN. They've been duking it out here, and so far Reynor, he has a 2-0 lead. He has a 2-0 lead here against SHIN. It's been a bit of a rocky start. Last game, SHIN had a massive advantage, had a massive lead, except for the fact that there was a ninja base. Except for the fact that there was a ninja expansion, which did catch SHIN completely off guard. It did actually influence the decisions that SHIN was making, the outcome of the overall game, of course, in the end as well. And the mind games are real. Now we're getting into game number 3.
That's not how any normal StarCraft game is supposed to look. There's supposed to be consequences for failures inside of a game that leads.
You're supposed to have consequences.
Yeah. It's just like, you know, we talk about like fan fiction. It's like somebody just writes like the most over-the-top story of what happened. I'm like, well, that doesn't happen in games. That's like one of those games. Okay. So SHIN, I mean, definitely humbled by that last game. Let's see what he wants to try to do this time around. Yeah, this is going to be probably a bit of a mental, a mental mountain that you have to climb as SHIN coming back from a.
It's also one of those things where
coming back from both of those losses,
last game we were on Tokamak. Tokamak is one of the larger maps in the map pool, so there are more places to hide something like a ninja base. Here, as you load into ley lines, smaller map. It's less likely for that to really influence you. I don't really expect to see that again or attempt it again anyway. But they're correct in saying that this is something that does kind of like tax on your mental states. Like SHIN, I'm sure, again, we had a break just in between this match and the previous one. I'm sure he checked the replay. I'm sure he was like, how? He's like, how? What? Oh, sorry, he didn't even have to check the replay because he saw, he found the ninja base eventually. And I'm sure if we had some player cams, we would have seen SHIN shaking his head. I also just realized, where are the player cams? Yeah, if you remember, typically we have player cams available. I think this is a replay cast. I didn't say it earlier, but if you remember at the very beginning, they didn't show us the vetoes. Usually they show us the map order and they show us the vetoes alongside the player cams. But if there's no player cams because it's a replay cast, then it's possible that they just, we just don't. That's why we don't have player cams right now. Because this is done via replays instead. I would assume that if it's done via replays, it's because Maestros is tonight, and I'm pretty sure Reynor's playing in that. So to make sure that there's no like clashing for the schedule, it's possible that of course they prioritize Maestros of the game, which they're going to be playing in later on tonight, and play these matches ahead of time instead. But yeah, that would make sense in my mind.
In the series,
sure,
but going back to more what he's used to, I would say in this third game as well. I think that just kind of goes towards his strengths as a player overall.
It's funny they both have their Ling pairs attacking this hatchery down here. So we're gonna see if we see a spike in Zergling production or if it's just gonna be a macro game.
Like, otherwise, there's no reason for us not to have cams because both SHIN and Reynor have cams.
You can make a Baneling's Nest for defensive purposes too.
Yeah, you just want to make sure you have an option to defend.
Do they mention that this is a replay cast at the start? They usually don't. If it is a replay cast, they wouldn't say it.
Like I eloquently said.
Because that usually takes away from the cast. So they usually keep that to themselves.
Basically come out to be about even. The biggest difference right now is that SHIN does not have a Roach Warrant at all.
Yeah, Reynor's going to go for a faster Roach.
That's fine.
With the Bane Nest.
Like it would make sense as to why we don't have cams and why they didn't show us the vetoes at the start. Because they wouldn't even know what the vetoes are. True.
Before, but then just not make mainlings at all. Just go straight
wouldn't
to
even know.
A large amount of roaches and just trying to catch SHIN off guard in that way because he's not making any drones at this point. He's down a lot of drones. He's super cutting and just
Reynor's in streaming league, so confirm not replay cast. True.
I'm just doing the same build as I did the first game.
Are you saying that he's just playing league right now, just off stream? No.
Heavy aggression.
Not like this.
Yeah, this is going to hit really hard. And, I mean, there's 8 more drones.
Reynor's going for an all-in, by the way.
He could just die.
He commits into an all-in.
Yeah, no, it's very possible.
So
he sees the scout, but it does. Getting that crucial scout. I guess
he scouts
right there. Anyways, never mind. Would have seen it in half a second later. Anyways, ignore me. Whatever. He's gonna see everything though.
SHIN, he drone up so much, droning up to 40. Oh god.
Spine in production, but
it's not gonna help.
Army count is going to be much weaker coming into this initial engagement. So we'll see if Reynor can find any window of opportunity with this momentum that he's gonna have in this first push.
Okay, he's coming out now. Keep in mind the tech is part of the barrier. Okay, he's actually split these beautifully. The roaches are really doing some work.
Yeah,
over here
Lings
in
are
the
being
front.
zoned
The
away with
Banelings
Banelings.
can't
Really
quite
nice
connect.
zoning.
Yeah, you want those roaches. Excuse me. You want the roaches to try to snipe the Banelings.
As
when
SHIN
they come
trying to
in.
get this
That's
around.
what's really important here because
He's going for it.
can
Goes to the
actually
dive.
do
No,
nice
he's
surround.
around.
Oh, that's huge coming in from Reynor, catching SHIN out of position with this. It's going to allow the Queen to die.
Yeah,
It's going to
completely
allow
out
the
of
roaches
position.
to get absolutely
Ay.
massacred at this point. We'll be able to switch over to the left-hand side to try and kill some of these reinforcing roaches as more Lings rally across the map for Reynor to continue to push
He has
this
to keep
aggression
going.
to the limits of SHIN.
This is
Can
still
he
not enough
defend
damage. He needs
this
more.
attack? He's morphing in Ravagers as well with those low health roaches to make sure they stay alive as long as possible. They
No,
should
no,
be
this
killed
around.
third.
He gets caught. Yeah, shit, he gets caught out completely.
The roaches yet again.
The
as
vials!
Lings
Oh
are
my
going to trap
God.
them as well. ByuN getting thrown down, and this is looking very strong for Reynor.
I think this game's almost over here. I mean, I don't blame SHIN for trying to come out and defend no matter what, but its base is going to go down, and that's going to be a GG. Beautifully done there by Reynor. A clean 3-0.
Yeah, that was just super solid. I mean, I guess I'm eating my
Also,
words again when I say that Reynor should just play super good macro game.
The end screen was different. But yeah, GG, well played, and congratulations, Reynor. He does claim the 3-0 does advance on into the next round. My condolences to SHIN. I was curious to see if Reynor was going to take a more reactive stance against SHIN, but the answer is no. We saw still more aggression out of Reynor, going for the all-in here, going for the attempted all-in in the previous game as well with the spine rush, and being really fluid with his play overall. And I hope that Reynor is enjoying his time right now as he's, I'm sure, in the middle of a league game. But GG, well played. With that, Reynor does advance on into the next round. And up next, we do have Trigger versus ByuN. Now, I'm going to double check here. Are Trigger and ByuN also playing tonight in Maestros of the game? Let's have a look. Maestros. Maestros of the game. So Reynor's playing tonight. ByuN is not, Trigger is not, which means we should be getting player cams. Let's go! So we should be getting player cams here for Trigger versus ByuN. Again, Reynor, he's playing later on tonight, so it does complicate things when it comes to other events overlapping. But this next PvP should be a bit of a closer one. Trigger has been looking very impressive as of late when it comes to his overall play. He has risen to the ranks of being the best player in the Americas region. He has surpassed Australia, did so this year, also becoming this year's NA representative when it came to EWC, of course, and we'll see how he compares to ByuN, especially considering ByuN is a very unique Terran player in TVP.
In my opinion, that crazy Cenotaph game, the super long, crazy back and forth TVP was ridiculous to watch, and so I hope we get even half that in this next series. That would still be a great treat to watch.
Guys, you know what to do. You're watching on your computer. Open up that second tab. YouTube.com. And then go to our page and subscribe. We need to grow this thing.
Grow it.
We need more. We'll never be satisfied.
We need more subscriptions to feed ourselves.
I want the silver plaque when we get 100,000 subscribers.
We're going to put it right behind us. We're going to put
as I put it, yeah, it's going to be right up here on the wall. And then I'm going to be frowning. You'll be like, what's wrong, Tasteless? And I'll be like, I want the gold plaque now. We need 1 million subscribers. So the more people we get on that YouTube, in all seriousness, the bigger this the viewership of the tournament will get, because the algorithm will find people like you.
People that love StarCraft, like you, like me, like him, like Ziggy over there.
True! Exclamation mark YouTube in the chats. All the YouTube happy.
Like this. I'm so happy.
Let's go.
Yeah. So we're going to have a short break, but when we come back, we're going to be going on to the second half of the day, a best of 5 here. Yeah, so we'll see you soon.
We're going to be going in a break as well. Going to be going in a break. When we come back, we're halfway through the broadcast. Up next is going to be a Terran vs. Protoss matchup between ByuN and Trigger. We'll see you soon. We'll see you soon after the short break. See you soon, Babby. See you soon. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Ooh, we have returned with the second half of the broadcast. We just wrapped up with our first best of 5 between SHIN and Reynor. Now we have our second best of 5 between ByuN and Trigger, a PvT. And it's going to be a banger of a series here. ByuN has showcased some very intense and very impressive TVP over the past couple of months, specifically showcasing his prowess in the mid and late game in the Terran vs Protoss matchup with his insane ghost control at EMP micro as well. Meanwhile, we do know that Trigger as well has also been rising through the ranks over the past year of play, has risen to the ranks of now being the best player in the Americas, surpassing that of Australia, and has also spent the past year in Korea. He's been in Korea the entire time, has been practicing, has been improving, and show us, oh, as we are jumping right into the game. Once again, no vetoes? What?
Oh my god, I'm so hyped. I really hope that game was insane. I literally can't even believe how good that game was.
Oh, it was so good.
I'm very
but here we go. Spawning in the top left hand corner, we have Trigger for Basilisk, and in the bottom right we have ByuN for Shopify.
Top left, ByuN on the bottom right. I'm very curious.
And if you're in the chat, you know what's happened is it is Gamma time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck. Best of luck in the chat.
Closely in the same bracket or same tournament. How much do they shuffle up? What do they?
I did mention earlier that I was excited to see ByuN and Trigger tonight because they don't have another event scheduled and conflicting with this. But the fact that we did not get a revelation of the map order and the vetoes at the start of the series, and we don't have in-game player cams, leads me to believe that it's a little bit of a shame because I don't think that we're clashing with anything. It would have been nice to have had them here with us to watch the cams, Patty. Watch the cams.
Of a few different types to throw out to the Patreon voters to vote for, and so. Yeah, I feel like this season we've had some pretty solid additions. The maps have been good, and the games on them have been pretty interesting too. Last season we didn't get to see as many of them, but this time I think we're getting a lot more picks for some of these maps, and so yeah, no, it's pretty cool to see them.
Okay, so you know, we've got this first probe out here. Terran, excuse me, is saving up for the 400 minerals to make the command center.
As a welcome one to Centopath. Centopath is a very interesting map in the map pool. Fun fact, this is one of the TLMC 21 maps, which honestly is a lot of fun. It is a very open expansion, sorry, very open map with an open 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th expansion. Very open. One of, if not the most open map in the map pool that I've seen in a very long time. I was actually
actually no, it's gonna be a straight. Okay, I was thinking about this.
Marauder Rush, okay.
Kind of weird. It's a little too early. Yeah, it's gonna be a Marauder concussive opener out of ByuN.
Oh,
very unorthodox.
This is very unusual. I don't think I've seen this before.
This happens like every now and then. Like the Terrans just kind of randomly rotate this build in. I'm always curious why, because I feel like it almost never does anything. Like I feel like it's very hard to get damage.
Does he just rush with this?
What? What am I
Third
looking at?
CC
This is
before
insane.
factory. Let's go.
Well, we have the ninja base.
He's going 3 CC 3 racks, which ByuN is known for.
Unreasonably fast.
So I guess you just pressure with the Marauders.
So, for those that are curious, we see a second Rex. We should be seeing a third Rex behind this as well. ByuN very commonly does this on large maps, and as I mentioned before, this is one of those maps which is very large, very open as well. So ByuN is cutting a lot of corners here, and this will get out of hand in the mid game once he's able to embrace and take advantage of the third base.
I like the idea of this build coming out from ByuN, because what it looks like is it looks like these really aggressive Marauder plays where they sometimes go for just an early poke and then go into a 3 racks follow-up or whatever. And so from the front, this doesn't really look that weird or different from Trigger.
Nice
He's
catch.
played against this before. He knows what it is. It's kind of strange. It's kind of unfortunate that he's losing both these adepts. It's actually another nice play by ByuN to kind of bait that in and then was waiting on the outside with it. But this looks like a standard play that he's seen before, but he's got that fast third base just hidden really quickly. Trigger should never expect that to be coming at this time.
So
and you saw because he didn't even try to scout for it.
So Trigger,
it's not even really hidden. It's right next to his net. I mean, that would be.
But it's wetting it back a little bit here. Trigger, he should expect that if he is familiar with ByuN, because ByuN is known for this kind of play. Trigger is responding with extra gateways, so he does throw down 2 more gateways. Blink is on the way, Rober's on the way. Trigger, if he responds and reacts with aggression, then Trigger may be able to punish ByuN. Remember, this is very greedy from ByuN because of the build of choice, late factory production, which means no tank setup, for example. The defensive setup is very minimal for ByuN, so he is vulnerable, and we'll see what Trigger can get done. We'll see if he moves out with a War Prism first.
And it's not actually at the base yet. You still have to wait and float it over there. This is so early, and it's just right on position, so he's able to get the...
Here comes that Prism. Here comes Trigger. 4-gate Blink Stalker. Hyper aggression.
When you see a fast Marauder
and this is one of the ways to punish ByuN.
It feels like as a Protoss, it's pretty easy to defend that initially, and then just go into what Trigger is doing right now, which is going to just be a 4-gate Blink Prism attack, and you should be able to basically control the mid game and be able to even punish them if they're out of position. And so at this point, ByuN, he's going to have to make sure he can get everything together. Stim is finishing perfectly on time, so that will help a lot. But if these bunkers don't get up, it's going to be really hard for him.
Does he check the third?
So, I mean, Trigger's going to do this attack here. He has
Does he check the third?
Across the map. You could just die as Terran
the bunker.
That's completely possible.
Oh.
Okay, he actually does get the bunker up.
Does
he
finish?
have a bunker in the main?
I don't think he does. Which is, again, the scary part. Now
with the help of the War Prism, he can get into the main base as well. He can rotate.
Have too many units as ByuN. I feel like, I guess he does kind of, he hasn't been able to get kind of a decent amount, actually. But unfortunately, just this one bunker, I don't think Trigger realizes that there's nothing really in the main base. That would really be nice to get a blink up in there just to see what's going on. It's very risky to blink up when you know your opponent has Stim, though, because then you're so committed. So I think Trigger's just taking it the safe route and just will continually chip away in there just to see what's going on. It's very risky.
Oh. Who is it? No! The clean feed is dirty. Stay with us.
Opponent has Stim, though.
Oh, as it looks like
taking it the safe.
Yeah, it looks like the mainstream is dying a little bit here.
I mean, he's not really getting that much done. He's killed 7 SCVs, but does that matter if you took a third base so fast?
Okay, they're back.
Yeah, I guess we're going to get the scan just to make sure this Observer does get killed off, which is nice.
Snipe the Observer. Now, what's crucial here is that, yes, Trigger's getting damaged, but he has not been able to spot and deny and punish the third base yet.
To try and one-shot some SCVs or some Marines, we'll be able to do so, blink on back, and just get on out of there, and just try to manipulate the Terran as much as Trigger can to get more SCVs at the front. Because, again, this looks by him to be pretty good damage. Like, he's killed quite a lot of SCVs. He's really not lost any of his Stalkers, and he's got his third base coming back at home. But he has no idea that we have a third base literally right next to this attack.
Yeah, this is painful to watch because there's this naked, exposed base, like one screen over, and he doesn't know. It's Hidden Base Day, guys.
Yeah, that's
Happy
insane.
Hidden Base Day. Happy Hidden Base Day, everybody.
Didn't you guys know?
Yeah.
No one got the memo,
You
apparently.
probably, when you watch this on camera, you go, they're matching in their clothes. I go, yeah, it's Hidden Base Day. Of course, we dressed up. So, I mean, it's just such a tragedy to see a rush like that could absolutely punish what ByuN's doing, and it's not going to go punished because Trigger hasn't even factored it in as a possibility.
I love it. It's hidden in plain sight. Like, why would you check there at this point? There's no reason for this base to be here. Is he? No, he's
No, he
he's
hasn't
still
gone
not
down.
even
It's
going.
right there.
He's
It's
still
right
not
there. He
even
doesn't
looking.
know.
Oh my God, this is hilarious. I can't believe we're getting this 2 series in a row. This makes no sense. All right, Prism back in the main base, trying to get, again, more SCVs. This time with charge lots instead. We'll be able to trade out a little bit more efficiently, but unfortunately, not paying attention.
It makes no sense if you don't watch much ByuN, I guess. I mean. The hidden place play for Reynor series was crazy, for sure. That was crazy. That was wild. Here again, ByuN is known for this. Oh, that's a healing pad?
Get much of anything.
I didn't even know.
Get some worker kills, that's fine, but
That's a healing pad. That's
vastly
crazy.
miscalculated what kind of game he's in right now.
Oh my God.
You know, he still hasn't checked that. But it's crazy, man. So, Trigger is just, he doesn't know what kind of game he's
now,
in
because
yet,
the
right?
third base is beginning up and running uncontested, ByuN, he will be able to saturate the third base. He has a higher worker count, and ByuN will be able to excel in the army supply soon. Soon he'll just boost ahead when it comes to army, when it comes to the quality as well. Ghost Academy's on the way, getting to the rest of his upgrades, getting ready for those EMPs.
Oh my God, this is
now he
going
knows.
to be painful. He's like, oh. Now, if he clicks in the minerals, he's going to go, oh, God.
Yeah, I wonder actually if he even realized. Because, like, technically the third could be down at this time.
Yeah.
And it's not that weird.
Having a third base now is fine. But
Yeah.
the thing is, that third base was there in the first couple minutes of the game. So that's what I'm most interested in. So, he's going to try to come in here and hit. I mean, this is a pretty good angle with the Zealots.
This is actually not bad. It's a pretty good surround coming in from Trigger. A lot of his Zealots coming in from the back, though, a bit late. We'll be late to the party here and unable to do anything. We have
Did we have a crash here?
some kind of a
Is the
freeze.
game crashed on your end, Ziggy? Okay. Oh,
that's
that's,
hello.
good. That's always a good sign. All right, so
And the game's over.
All right.
Hey, oop.
Okay, well, who won that? I didn't actually.
Trigger.
Trigger.
Trigger
Okay.
just
I know if
walked
you-
in and won.
I don't know if you noticed, but their audio is desynced right now, so it looks like there's some technical issues on their end. It looks like it wasn't just their internet that was lagging, but it looks like their feed to Maple, the observer, was also lagging as well. So there was just like layers upon layers of technical issues on their side. I will see if I can
Don't say that. It could happen.
fix some stuff up here as best we can. But GG well played. So again, ByuN, he was building up into his 3 bases. It looks like Trigger was able to strike just before the Ghost. The Ghost Academy was done, but it looks like the Ghost production was still on the way, and Trigger, he was able to strike just before those Ghosts got up and running. And this is also partially because of the map. If you remember, if you recall, what you were saying leading into that first game is how open this map is. It's actually quite difficult to be the defending player at your 3rd, 4th, and 5th location. This is where I wish like we could have control of the camera for a moment, because I need to emphasize that on center path, on the map that they just played on, it is insanely difficult to defend, to be the defensive player on that 4 and 5 and 6 base setup. Like, the bases are so much more vulnerable. Basically, the ramps leading to the bases are further out. The ramps are very, very far out. So actually, the aggressing player can get up the ramp, get onto the same point of elevation, get a concave going, and then attack into the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, and the 6th expansion. All those bases are so exposed on that map. It's crazy. So it's so hard to be that defender. But here we go. We're getting into our next game.
Another newer map that we've got voted in here by our beautiful, wonderful Patreons. Patrons, not Patreons. That's they're patrons. Yeah, there we go.
Patreon support.
They're Patreon supporters.
Yes.
They're patrons. Yeah.
They're
Anyway.
patrons of the Patreon. So we have an SCV out very early. Is this just a scout, or is he going to make
eBay block.
something? eBay block. Okay.
Surely, I believe.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Look at Trigger.
So we
He's
have-
so afraid of something.
Is the Chijik tournament going on
Yeah,
right now?
He's got a probe moving down here.
Is that why?
We'll see if he also hides a pylon. That's a possibility as well.
Classic did do that on this map at one point, I believe, last
Yeah.
season. So that's technically a
So
possibility.
eBay block out of ByuN. Now, if you remember, something I was saying, I was trying to figure out why ByuN and Trigger are playing from replays. Because they aren't in Masters of the game. I think, am I crazy? The Chijik tournament. I believe the Chijik event is on right now, and that's what ByuN is playing in.
I think he's
'Cause I-
pretty comfortable just making sure these games go a little bit longer. He will just
Yeah,
ignore
he's
the
playing in the
natural
Chijik
security
tournament.
was very good for the
That's so
fast
unfortunate.
As the response, that is something that you can do. And on this map, it's interesting because it is still on a high ground position, which is
We'll get into it later.
for some of these maps.
But basically, there's a StarCraft Evolution tournament going on right now, and I got tipped off because I just went in game because I was curious because I saw that ByuN was in a different custom game. He's being casted by Reynor right now. But yeah, I just saw that ByuN he was playing with Rumiath, so he's currently mid-series versus Rumiath in StarCraft Evolution. So that's the event that was clashing. Smurge.
Very quickly, or Phoenixes to lift them up. So that's generally how this has worked. In the recent couple months or so, it's not been the case with the new shield battery.
But that's why we didn't get the vetoes, and that's why we don't get the player cams.
For the sentries and whatnot, makes it still pretty okay to defend these types of things. So we'll see what Trigger's idea is with this, going for double stalker for now, just to try and kill as many things as possible that might come across, and still go into that blink anyways.
So when it comes to what they're getting into here, they were just touching on the initial opener of Trigger. He is force take the unnatural. It can be very difficult to defend. Welcome to Kill Switch. Kill Switch is a map that we've casted on plenty of times in the past. It's a TLMC 20 map, and Kill Switch is known for aggression, is known for all-ins. The rushes and spike round on this map is very short, and the bases are a lot more accessible as well. So it's going to be a tough hold. Like, you can even see it here. Imagine ByuN going for a 2-base all-in, a tank-based 2-base all-in. He gets up the tanks to hit this mineral line from the low ground. Like, that base is not safe. So ByuN has the option to be hyper aggressive here. We'll see if he will go for that. ByuN, he's also known for being the most macro oriented player right now. I should say Korean Terran. He's the most macro oriented Terran player out of all the Terrans out there, more so than Clem, more so than Maru. So ByuN, he's less prone to all in. We'll see if he takes the bait.
Get that watchtower in his main base as well, which is a pretty wild thing when you.
And yes, there is a watchtower in the main. There's so much to talk about when it comes to Kill Switch.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's great. Looks like he's gonna get one probe kill here with this Reaper. That is, quickly falling off in value here for what it can do. We're gonna have a Widow Mine drop coming in here. 2 probes killed overall, by the way.
Yeah, not too bad. We'll be able to get the scout that this third base is over here too, but it's unfortunate that he can't really dive too deep to get the confirmation, but I feel like everyone knows at this point you're just going blink. Like, there's no real thing to be scouting. You're not going to be going for Stargate.
We have 2 more gates on the way.
Can just kind of assume that we'll be the blink.
ByuN's going to be dropping in. At the same time, he's also opening up the Xel'Naga tower as well. Both players are.
There are a couple slow zones here as well, though, so that's going to kind of slow this down just a little bit and give Trigger just that much more time.
Trigger's also online on Twitch.
See if he is paying attention, and wow, that is just
that'll do it.
Stalker warp in response I've ever seen.
Yeah.
That is full preparation for
I was looking for the reason why they were playing via replays. But you know what? Maybe that's Trigger's reason. Maybe he's like, you know what? I got an Osu session, okay? I can't skip out on it. I can't skip out on that Osu. Understandable. Este Trigger.
I would imagine that some of this game is going to look like the last game. Obviously, without ByuN's hidden base that he's never spotted. But other than that, kind of the same thing.
He's like Reynor. Reynor, he had to get into that rift.
Yep, the Widow Mine's going to try to come back in, but it is just perfectly timed here. And again, Trigger perfectly aware. Unfortunately, he pulls that a little bit too far. Almost killed a bunch more with the splash, but only 2 is not bad. But the Raven coming in with the auto turret to continue that pile-on damage is not too bad. This is really straining the multitasking of Trigger a little bit. But at this point now, the Blink Stalkers are ready at the front of the base. Tank in a nice position, though, to be very safe from any frontal pushes, but still dish out the damage. But the aggression will.
Bearing in mind, this is still 4-gate Blink Stalkers. A Trigger, he's delaying his third base in favor of this. Can he go for the dive?
Onto that tank if it's available.
Tank sieges?
Doesn't quite go for it.
Can he? Oh my God! He can't quite get the bunker down. It repaired in time. That sucks.
Yeah.
Now he's going to blink up into the main. This tank is exactly where it should be. That's a very difficult tank to actually get to. He might not even try to do it. Yeah, he's going to back up.
Yeah, I love these positions of the buildings as well. This has become so common.
ByuN holds across map. 2 probes going down.
It's very difficult to just blink right on into the main base and get the targets onto the tanks. So I like how Trigger did that, just putting 4 up there just to test the water, so that way he can just immediately lift them all up in the prism without losing anything. Oh my God, please don't. Okay. I was going to say, if he lost all that, that would have been very embarrassing, but thankfully
quite bad.
Paying attention, so we'll be able to do that. Totally fine. Whoa.
Wow, that was ambitious. He did get that SCV there. Trigger's now taking his third base, where the eBay block was at the start of the game. More gateways are going to come down here. And, Terran's basically sitting back and macroing. We're getting the combat shields upgrade. And, as far as Trigger's concerned, he's just filling in the rest of his tech.
This is still a pretty good position from ByuN, though, I would say. He was able to get a pretty good amount of damage overall. It felt like little tiny bits of damage when you were looking at it, but it all kind of added up. A lot of probes were able to get killed off, and on the backside, he wasn't really losing many SCVs.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
Extension from Trigger. A bit sloppy on that disengage, unfortunately losing a few more Stalkers than he wanted. And again, the turret coming back. Thankfully, that shield battery is in position, but not able to save a few more of them. So that's going to be, again, a couple more workers down. I think that's 10 in total that have died so far, whereas Trigger has not really killed many SCVs at all, I think, this game. So a nice defense with just little tiny bits of harass from ByuN to put himself in a pretty decent economic position.
So, I'm a little worried here for Trigger. Like, the army from ByuN is massive.
Yeah.
Like, this is going to hit like a ton of bricks here. I don't know. Now, I think the idea is
nice Zealot drop.
good here.
Ooh, the Prism goes down.
But the Widow Mines take it out. And
does get a second tank.
Going to be enough to slow down.
Hey, that's 2 tanks going down. Not a bad run by.
ByuN doesn't get much done with the push. That's going to be bad.
But here comes the move out. And we spoke earlier how exposed these bases are for Trigger, how difficult it's going to be to defend, especially without splash damage. Remember, he has no Storm. He's still working towards a Colossus. ByuN has potential. We'll see what he does with that potential.
We don't mind shots with the Zealots getting picked up or anything. Again, this Raven coming back in again. God, how much damage is this thing going to do? It's absolutely ridiculous. ByuN, if he gets caught in the slow zone, could be very awkward. Luckily for him, the Zealots weren't ready, nor were the sentries for any force fields. So we'll keep those alive for now. But this army, like you said, is just so large at this point. No upgrades either for Trigger on these gateway units, and he's supply blocked on this Colossus, so that's going to be a ways out. Could easily get sniped.
Nice force fields.
Need to be perfect, and they will be good for now, but that's all the energy at this point. He's going to need to recharge one of those sentries to be able to keep this Robo alive once these force fields die out, but now the Zealot flank is going to come in.
Oh, he gets up.
Yeah, the Zealot flank is going to be pretty good.
He's going in.
It's too bad that he bled off a bunch of those Zealots earlier.
Yeah, nice kiting there by ByuN.
Can he just power through this?
There's just not enough support for the Protoss.
Stalkers don't have anywhere safe to blink to.
Not enough support for Trigger. The Colossus is going to be denied.
GG. There you have it.
A nice, solid game from ByuN. Like I said, just very little bits of harass here and there, getting just little bits of damage. 2 probes there, 2 probes here, ending up adding up.
Yeah.
While Trigger was going for something quite aggressive. When you're going for a 4-gate blink attack, it's not as economic as the 3-gate or the 2-gate, where you can just pick off like 2 or 3 SCVs and be fine. If you're going for a full 4 gateways, you need to still do damage, especially if you're losing 10 probes to Raven and Widowmine harass at the same time.
Yeah.
And that just didn't really happen, and ByuN was able to scale up pretty fine because of that.
Yeah, beautifully done. We're going to take a short little break. When we come back, we're going to continue on with this best of 5, currently tied up 1-1.
Looks like they're cutting to a break. But yes, just I guess echoing what Gemini said, as he mentioned, it wasn't just the damage that ByuN was dealing in the early game and forcing the more awkward position, but more importantly, it was also because Trigger did decide to play 4-gate blink 2 games in a row, and he did not do enough damage, right? So you're putting yourself behind when you go for a build like that. That's why Trigger's 3rd base was so late. That's why Trigger's Colossus was so late as well, because he dedicated so much to 4-gate blink, and it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it in the end. He did not do enough damage. With that, GG well played. With that, we're getting into our next game, or into the remainder of the series. Going to be going on a short break. When we come back, we'll have the second half of the final best of 5. We'll see you soon after the break. See you soon.
this time.
Yep, no
3-0.
And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Ooh, we have returned with our final series of this broadcast with Trigger versus ByuN. We are mid-series. First two games are in the bag, and we'll see where this leads us. As again, we're not quite privy to the vetoes. Unfortunately, we don't really know the map order ahead of us. We'll soon all discover the third map together here. When it comes to the first two games, a lot of it was very map dependent. Game one, we saw ByuN struggle. I mean, he got away with his opener, but he struggled to defend against the aggression from Trigger. Again, very difficult to defend on Cenotaph. Meanwhile, we do have game two, where Killswitch, favored and known for aggression, and ByuN was able to just snowball out of control, able to punish the failed aggression of Trigger and just take it from there. Up next, again, a lot of it will be, at least in my mind, is going to be map dependent, so we'll see what map we load into, then we can kind of judge and figure out where we do head, where it does lead. I mentioned before that ByuN, he's known for his mid game, he's known for his mid to late game as well in this matchup, but we'll see if we can get there as we're going to be jumping into Maganatha. Let's go!
Someone is going to get eliminated here.
We're jumping in.
No,
The tournament?
they're gone.
They're gone.
What, it's
I'll
gonna
have to
hurt,
wait till season 3
but
of
it's gonna hurt
RSL.
their feelings if they can't play anymore.
Oh, they're gonna be hurt. People get hurt in these tournaments, all right?
We're gonna bring them out back and punch.
That's
them
right.
in the
Yeah.
face. That series sucks.
No, I mean it's elimination time, man. It's a grueling losers bracket. ByuN, I think, played a much more straightforward game, by the way, in game 2.
Yeah. No, it was very solid. It was just like, just a straight up normal build. The eBay block was enough to pull Trigger to make him feel really awkward, and then you just have the back and forth Raven and Widowmine harass. Considering the fact that he went for that forward third base, much more difficult to defend the different sides with all that harassment, and was just solid on the defense and just felt really good out of ByuN. This time he's gonna go going
Considering
for
how insane game 1 was.
Oh yeah.
With sort of like game 1, I'm like, are we gonna have this every game? Is this just like a totally new way that the matchup works?
Yeah. It's going to be a double gas opener this time from ByuN. So again, we'll be switching it up. 3 games, 3 different styles. So we'll see what he's going to have in store for us this time. We'll see if it's going to be super aggressive or it's just going to be a simple Reaper Hellion into expand, and then maybe like a Widowmine dropper or Ravens or something like that. Usually is the play.
All right, so
As I kind of alluding to, with a double gas opener, ByuN has a lot of options. He has a lot of options here, going for early Cyclone, early drop, Reaper Hellion, Hellion drop as well. Like, there are options for ByuN, so our eyes are mainly on the Terran player. If you've been watching ByuN as of late, ooh,
there was no eBay block here, so
Reacted Reaper.
Whoa. Oh, never mind. Sorry.
Okay.
What?
It's double Reaper, which is what I said was going to happen, but for some reason I was
That's so funny. You like
I'm
said
sorry.
it, and then it happened. You're like, oh, this is crazy.
I don't know what just happened. My brain just like zoned out. I like forgot the last 30 seconds of what I already said. My bad. That's so funny.
So yeah, he's gonna have 2 Reapers, and then the Hellion's gonna come out. Terran's just throwing the command
So
center. This
the
is
goal of
basically
Reactor Reaper Hellion is to get
loaded
early game
into
economic
advanced
damage.
play.
It's to bust into the mineral line, is to wreak havoc and get probe kills. Ideally.
He didn't actually scout across the map.
Does
He
wanna get
only
probe
scouted
kills.
his side of the map for any proxies, and then just went right back home. So he's just playing. in the most
Meanwhile,
safe way
every game so
possible,
far in this
just didn't see
series,
anything on
Trigger
his side of the
has
map.
gone
So now
for
kinda has to
4
just
Gatling
account
Stalker.
for the
He shouldn't be doing it here, but
possibility
we'll see if
of
the trend
something like this
continues.
play. So Trigger just kind of covering all of his bases, playing really solidly, doing no corner cuts essentially in his builds, just making sure everything is as clean as can be. And it should be working out pretty well for him, assuming that he is well positioned, of course, with all of his units and doesn't let those Reapers and Hellions too close to an unguarded mineral line.
Okay. We've got the 2 Reapers and the Hellion just trying to clean up this Adept. And this Adept is not going to get away. 2 more Reapers and 2 Hellions. It's a glitch.
Someone get tasteless a cough button.
Come right out here.
I noticed it for the past 2 days now of RSL.
Kind of an even spread.
God damn it.
There's 1 Stalker there.
Every time he's coughing into the mic.
This very often. This is interesting. Okay, so he's going to come in.
Right, let's go. He's diving into the middle line. He's going for the main.
Main, I guess. Yeah.
He's just going to bypass the battery.
He's
Just kind of run on
Oh, he gets the Stalker.
One in the natural.
We'll be able to kill one of those and then go on to the probes after that. We'll be able to get a few of them. Since there's so many Reapers, you can kind of just ignore the Stalker damage for now and just YOLO them onto the probes. A total of 5 going to be killed off here, unless he can maybe wrap around, get that last one. No, he's going to try to keep it alive. He loses it in the end, but 5 probes getting killed off is not bad, I would say. It's not like insane, because obviously you suicide everything.
Yeah, you did lose a lot of units doing that. I never quite seen that little maneuver. That's very cute.
Yeah, he sees the battery in the natural, and he's like, well, I'm not going to be able to damage it out, like out-damage it. So he just YOLOs into the main base, assuming that there's not going to be any units on the ramp, and was right in that
So behind this, we're going to be getting into the mid-game. We do have a Cloak Banshee follow-up here for ByuN. We do have the Robo before the 3rd base, so Trigger's playing safe, and Trigger, he should have detection to deal with these Cloak Banshees.
Interesting that ByuN's kind of, approaching the game with a lot of novel ideas so far in this series. So we have tanks and Banshees coming here. Cloak is on the way, and we'll see how prepared Trigger's going to be for this. Cloak is going to basically finish like right when the Observer could come out, but it'll really depend on where the Observer's positioned.
Yeah, the first Banshee's going to be coming in. I wonder if he's going to wait with it or if he's going to go in. I would be amazed, actually, if he went in right now, considering Cloak is very close to being finished here. And we'll obviously see if Trigger leaves the Observer home or if he's going to send it across. I feel like Cloak Banshees in general have become a bit more popular in the matchup in the last month or so. I feel like I've been seeing them just more and more often, but looks like Trigger is just going to be sending it across with the Stalker, so not anticipating this type of a follow-up from ByuN. The Cloaked is finished. We'll be sending that in right away. No battery in the main base, I believe, so that should be an empty mineral line. And these
going to get some damage. Let's go.
Off very quickly. You see the panic warp in the main base, but there's no Observer. Got to recall that back. We'll be able to do just that, and that's going to be 5 or more extra probes killed off by the first Banshee alone. And I think there's another one actually in the 3rd base killing more probes as well. Yes, it is.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Nice.
I was wondering why the Banshee stopped moving. I'm like, what? Did he like misclick that badly?
Oh, it gets away. Oh, that's so brutal.
God, he got away with the crime. Stim has started to be researched.
Oh, nice snipe.
That's diligent from Trigger, actually, to chase it that far. I feel like most players would have just ran back home and just been like, oh, crap, I can't get it at this point. That's actually pretty smart, because I think he realized how much energy was left on it. He was that attentive to realize that it was actually going to run out in time. That's actually very... it's not huge, but it's actually kind of a cool thing to notice that he was paying attention to that. So we'll be able to kill off that Banshee as it's trying to get sent back home on the map. Now, that does allow Trigger to be a bit more aggressive. Since he has killed both Banshees, that does free up a lot of that space, so he doesn't actually have to leave any of his Stalkers home. So that is a big play in the end, to be able to kill both of them off. So feeling probably good, despite the fact that he did lose quite a few workers on the back end.
Okay, it's going to be time to push
I'm listening
out
to
here. It looks like this push is engineered to hit right when Stim finishes. He's got to be careful, though, because there's Stalkers right out here. Trigger backs up.
All right, this is going to be a very strong timing here by ByuN. ByuN is building up to Stim, +1, and Combat Shield, so from here he can move out. The Banshees were lackluster. I will say that. They got some damage done, but both Banshees got sniped. The Reaper Hellion was a little bit lackluster as well, so Trigger, he has been holding his own, and he's here to slow down the push.
Probably finishing in the next couple seconds.
Dude, good zoning by Trigger.
Oh, don't go the ramp.
Oh, no. Ran into the tanks.
I was about to say, like, wow, he even backed out before.
He face checked.
Tank siege. I'm like, it's pretty perfect. And then he just walked in there and got shot.
Third CC. Building up into the mid game.
So we have the 3rd CC started, but
This is still strong timing from ByuN, so he still has potential to deal damage with this. But thankfully, this time there's a Colossus. Two Colossus.
As well this time. So unlike that other game where we had the Colossus being supply blocked for all eternity and wasn't even able to get out because then the Robo got sniped, this time we will have 2 Colossi on the defense, and Trigger was able to ramp up in supply pretty heavily in the last 30 seconds, 45 seconds or so. So at first it looked like he might get overrun, but now he's going to have a solid army to meet ByuN on the map, kill off the tanks, kill off the Widow Mines, and will be able to take a nice engagement and keep ByuN away from his side of the map.
Yeah, very nice fight. Shuts down the tanks. We'll take a mine shot to the face. That's careful to overextend. But the Colossus so far, they have free reign. Remember, no Vikings. Right now, no Vikings for ByuN. So the Colossus, they can just keep pushing forward.
He's got a War Prism. Can he go all the way back to ByuN's base and just, come in here and hit? I imagined in my head this is going to be Protoss defending a Terran push. It's completely been turned on its head.
Yeah, the fact that he killed off all the tanks and mines in the middle of the map means that he's rightfully assuming there's not going to be any tanks back at home.
Does lose
nice
one.
micro, though, from ByuN to snipe one of those Colossi.
Yeah, that should not have happened.
Trigger, not quite close enough from the Prism to juggle it. So that's really going to hemorrhage this push, not allow him to actually go as far as he probably wanted to, because he was trying to abuse the fact that he killed off all those tanks earlier, meaning it was just going to be Bio on the defense. But now there's really nothing he can do. It's going to be very risky to go any further. Has to back up.
And I mean, you know, the reality is, even if you don't kill Terran here, excuse me.
Oh my God!
If Terran doesn't have a third,
someone get Tasteless a glass of water, Pappy.
Move out again.
He's been dying the entire cast.
Keep poking in.
So
there's going to be a small drop here.
Get him some water.
Just throwing some
hydrate,
in here.
Hydrate.
And this is going to be paired with movement on the map from Trigger towards where this third base is.
You can even see ByuN is just already bringing the third base back. He realizes the move that Trigger's going for. He's like, no, I cannot get this third base right now. I need to make sure this Prism is dead first, get the Viking on it, kill that off, and then reallocate everything in the front.
Yeah, no recall there.
Yeah, maybe just thought it was going to die.
Yeah,
just anyways.
Just make another one. It's you know, maybe it's more important to have a recall later for the fight. I don't know. Fourth base coming down.
Send him some cough drops.
Now let's remember that you know, generally speaking,
make this man some tea with honey.
Issue in the meta here with this match. The longer the game goes on, the easier it gets for Protoss, as long as they just
Ziggy, get on it.
Adding in different types of splash damage.
Yeah, once you can actually get the Colossus and then the Templar as well is when you really start to feel the power of...
from here, Trigger, he does have momentum. Again, he was able to take a better fight, able to shut down the tanks. ByuN is contained back at home, so he's slowly getting a third base up and running, and Trigger has map control. With that map control, Trigger can go for faster expansions and be the first to max out as well. So we have a back and forth. We're getting into the mid-game.
You can already see that ByuN went for the fast Ghost transition as well. He's got plenty of them out already. Realizing, though, that it is going to be mostly Colossi, still going into the Vikings as well to make sure. Because that's a 4 Colossus army, actually. That's more than what you'd normally see. Generally, you stop at 3. But at this point, he's trying to maybe bait ByuN into maybe going too far into Ghosts and not actually responding correctly with enough Vikings.
Okay, another scan here. And Protoss continues to grow. Trigger right now at about 183 supply. ByuN cooking at 170 now. And we're getting to the point where it's going to be a boiling point for this match, where, you know, Protoss can keep growing. Trigger seems to be more willing to just kind of try to attack in.
Well, remember, Trigger, he's up to 4 Colossus. The Viking count is still very low. It's like 1-to-1. There's 5 Vikings against 4 Colossus, so Trigger, he can collapse in. He's pushing a little bit too prematurely, but there we go. The boys are being pulled, and Trigger, can he break him here and now?
It's a little bit of a fractured attack.
He's sending it. The Colossus a little bit too far back.
Really nice surround. Oh my God. I don't know that ByuN can handle this much damage.
There's a lot of EMPs, though, on the Zealots, but unfortunately, they're just not really dying quick enough. But the Vikings will be able to kill off a few of these Colossus, assuming they actually focus fire, but they're really spreading their damage
he only gets
over
one.
all of them at the same time. So that means almost none of them get killed off.
Get died off.
Get died off. I almost said it. It's true.
I mean, that was brutal. You know, it's funny because, like, yeah, the Vikings are going to kill the Colossus, but the Colossus has already killed all the infantry. By the time that's done, it's over. Kind of a weird game. It was sort of just ByuN kind of sitting there, and eventually he died. Never really had his moment. I thought he was going to hit with that push, but...
So, winding it back, I think Gemini... They're both the same in my mind. I think Gemini is going to touch on it right now. But basically, winding it back, remember, it all came down to that first move out when ByuN got caught with his pants down in the center of the map. When he lost his tanks, when he lost his Widow Mines, he missed his timing. Remember, he was building up towards a stim and +1 timing, and he failed to get anything done with it because he got shut down prematurely. It was also more important for him to do damage there because if you remember at the time, we were talking about how little damage he had dealt with the Banshee and the Reaper Hellion, right? He had not done enough damage to justify teching and investing into those units early on, so he had to have his timing actually make up for that. He got shut down and he lost all the momentum. It allowed Trigger to gain map control, get the faster fourth base, have the better economy, and be the first player to max out. We saw that ByuN was working on that Viking transition, but if you remember, Trigger, he hit just as ByuN only had 5 Vikings versus 4 Hellions. That's why those 4 Hellions did so much damage. It's why they popped off, because, hey, the Viking count was low. I think a lot of people, they look at PvT nowadays and they're like, yo, you know, storms, they're crazy, papi, right? True, but because of the storm meta, a lot of Terran players have been going into earlier Ghost production and have been foregoing and at times delaying their Vikings, anticipating Ghosts. It does allow you to go into these earlier and more heavy Colossus-based play, Colossus-based build to catch your opponent off guard, because hey, ByuN, he had Ghosts, he had EMPs, didn't matter. Not against the Colossus, papi. Aye.
It was very focused on the Templar play from Trigger, and so I think he's
so Trigger, he's one game away from claiming the series.
Catch ByuN off guard.
What a mass,
like
papi, what a mass.
Kind of alluding to as well. So I like the change-ups overall in the matchup from both of the players trying into these different games to make it so it's not just a carbon copy of their group stage match.
Okay, I mean, the scouting probe's going to come down here across the map.
Welcome to Tokamak. Tokamak is one of the larger maps in the map pool, more defensive as well. We're expecting a longer game on this map.
Powered up, and eventually the Protoss was too big and came in there and killed him.
Yeah, it's kind of rough at times when you just kind of get pulled apart for too long. I think after the push got dismantled and then the third base got delayed for quite a while, it really just allowed Trigger enough time to rebound from the Hellion Reaper and Cloak Banshee harass, and so just was able to find a solid position, and then getting a really good engagement on that third base with the flank coming in as well was really well done. ByuN just a bit too caught off guard in that particular moment. But this time we'll be just kind of going back to a more standard Marine first expand build, it looks like, off of the 1 gas, so nothing too
clearly Tasus needs an intern to make him a drink. That's what State is for. What do you mean? State isn't casting. He can make some drinks back. He can make them.
Yeah.
I believe.
I was not looking at that.
I don't know. There was a probe that was like, oh, I see. Okay, he just pulled that. Okay, I thought.
So ranks expand, economic opener out of ByuN, meanwhile standard opener out of Trigger.
Right when you start StarCraft, you're like, oh, if I make a building here, I'd like lose money. Okay, like that's. Anyways, we've got a second CC here in the main base. And I would not be shocked if we just have a Twilight Council into Robo, into War Prism, like the same stuff we've had before.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting this time as well, this series. Trigger has not gone for the Fast Sentry, I think, in any of the games, which is, again, the flavor of the patch, essentially, going for these Fast Sentry Hallucinate builds. Okay, there it is. Nice. So yeah, we have not seen it until just now. So finally going into that style to get the dedicated scout. Did not see the CC on the low ground, so really wants to know what's happening in the main base here, since ByuN is trying to hide it in the main, essentially to feign some sort of very early aggression.
I should also remind as well that we have seen a lot of mech recently in TVP. That is not the case with ByuN. ByuN, he has been avoiding mech in this matchup. It's been more so embraced by the other Terran players out there, like Clem, like Maru, like Cure. Not ByuN though. ByuN's been playing more so bio-oriented.
Out here for ByuN, as we're going to see the finishing up of the 1-1-1 here. It's been fun casting Trigger's games, by the way. He's for me like the kind of the newest player, because I cast a lot of the same players, especially like GSL and everything. But yeah, it's cool to have these younger, fresh players out here and kind of see what they've got, see how viable they are. Charge is coming out here with the second gateway, or 2 more gateways, excuse me.
Yeah, the Charge first is cool. I think he's doing it just because he saw that it was a fast tech lab into the cycle.
It's like it's been around since like the beginning of COVID. It's like, fresh faces. True.
General beefy army engagement.
Oh, charge opener. Okay.
From the blink, having fast charge versus some of that.
This is different. So we're going for extra gateways, going for charge. Basically, if ByuN goes for an early timing, Trigger will completely shut him down.
It's not really going to be an early tank play, so we'll see if Trigger is able to still find value with this early charge, because then, again, having blink much later against Widowmine drop, against Raven harass, makes it pretty awkward to defend against, so we'll see if that ends up coming into play.
Okay, scouting hallucinated Phoenix. Just to see.
Basically, what Gemini was getting into here is that blink-based openers are very safe against drop play and against harassment options, not, or a little bit less so against these main all-ins and these main pushes. If ByuN was going and setting up for an early move out for an early push, then he'd be shut down by charge, but defending against Widowmine drops and Banshees is more difficult as you have delayed blink.
Defended too well, and then they were able to react in time, then they just leave, and then you just don't actually end up killing any of the units. And
that's a good point.
That's also annoying, especially if they end up just darting it into the dead space behind the main base or something.
Right.
You always have to leave stuff there to account for. So if you can kind of like bait them in to at least drop something, and then you go and respond with the units in position, it still ends up being pretty okay for yourself, I think.
Ooh, rushing into Storm.
So yeah, I mean the Widowmine drop.
I mean, this makes sense after a charge-based opener.
You traded that out for the Widowmine.
So no Colossus this time.
Templar Archives coming here. So this is actually like what Classic was doing, which is basically you just rush into Storm and then you kind of just blob out on the map. You kind of just continue to try to grow in it everywhere, and then you try to get your second and your third set of splash damage.
Yeah, this is a good scout from the Observer to see this army moving across the map as well from ByuN, as that is going to be the follow-up. Supply blocked for just a moment there as well will delay some of that, but I like the Hallucinated Phoenix also scouting that medevac over on the right side, making sure that's not coming in at any awkward time. So Trigger's really fully aware of the play that ByuN is setting up here with the forward attack and the medevac on the right-hand side at the same time. Does he have everything to be able to defend against, though, is the question.
Not
he
coming
does
in.
have charge, so this ended up being the correct play since ByuN did go for one of these tank pushes after the Widowmine drop. So the charge will allow him a decent engagement, but the Widowmine drop coming in at the exact same time, perfect reaction again. Trigger's been so on point with those, but then the engagement happening at the same time as well, jumping on the position and completely dislodging it.
That was insane. It's like, oh, never in a million years was that push going to work.
No.
Does Protoss just like aim move across the map now?
Yep.
Honestly.
I mean, I guess that's what's going to happen. He's like, all right.
As Gemini was alluding to, this is what Trigger wanted. He wanted ByuN to go for a tank push, and ByuN went for it. ByuN, he went for a tank push into charge, and charge completely shuts that down. When you go for a charge-based opener, you want your opponent to be pushing into you, and again, ByuN, he went for the bait.
I think the bunker alone
went for the bait.
Makes you uncomfortable enough to not try to move in here. But yeah, I mean, ByuN's in trouble here. You know, he's just started his third command center, so his whole attempt to kind of close the game out completely blew up in his face.
Yeah, that just is not the situation that ByuN was looking for coming into this. I mean, he really was hoping for at least something to do any amount of damage, whether it be the Widowmine getting a nice hit in the main, or the forward draw or the forward position actually working out.
Widowmine jump is going to be cleaned up.
Both get completely blocked. Trigger is extremely on point, but now the
Banshees across the map, though.
Will try to find some damage. Maybe this is where all the damage was going to be had, as it does get 6 probes and will run into the natural to try and get a few more, but will be back deflected by some of those stalkers. And even jumped on, potentially losing one of them is not great. Was that actually? Can you? Yeah, I think that is possible to just hide that in.
Yeah, yeah, you can keep that there. They can't get there. So Psystorm's about to finish up. And, I mean, things are looking very smooth right now for Trigger. ByuN's not dead. Oh, no, never mind.
Getting both Banshees.
Unlucky. I was going to say, I feel like I've tried to keep Oracles back there in PvZ sometimes, and I do not keep them alive. So I was like, wow, wait, can I actually keep them there?
So this is a really rough setup for ByuN. ByuN, he failed when it came to the early push. He just lost his harassing Banshees. He lost the Widowmine as well, which means Trigger has now gained map control.
I think that Protoss is basically going to wait for Terran to take a third base and then attack it.
Oh, that's so unlucky that this Stalker is trying to hunt the other medevac and just barely doesn't scout the other 2 that are now getting sent across the map. Will Trigger be prepared for this?
There's potential with the drop play.
Really have an observer in
There's a lot of pressure on ByuN's drops to get some damage done. Like, ByuN has to do something here to recover, to allow himself to expand, to allow himself to build up in this game.
If he's a bit out of position, he should have a recall prepared. I don't think he's used any of this game yet, so he will be able to respond in that way if needed. But there's really nothing else besides the drop happening at this current point anyways, and he does see that with the forward observer as well, so I think he should be feeling pretty comfortable to defend this once he does actually see the drops coming into his main. Okay.
We are just waiting. Protoss continues to grow. The Forge just finished up. And, you know, Trigger's just using this War Prism to basically...
Ideally, Trigger wants to wait for a distraction, as he does actually find some SCVs. Oh, going for the Storm Drop.
Nice Storm Drop.
That would have been so good if he could have gotten them all clumped up right there. That was very nice reaction from ByuN.
Well, I mean, storm dropping's great. You know, over time, you can just kind of melt their workers down. And, you know, I don't think there's a lot that Trigger has to do right now. You know, I think he basically just continues to attack in here. He's getting his Colossuses now with Thermal Lance. He's getting to that kind of that death ball where there's, you know, almost nothing you can do against it as Terran.
Well, what they're getting into here is the fact that we are on Tokamak. We spoke about this at the start of the game, but we are on a map that is known for defensive plays. So Trigger, in all intents and purposes, he can just chill in 4 bases. He can just chill and max out.
You do have to cut something, and that is the upgrade. So he's going to be a little bit behind on that. Luckily for him, ByuN didn't quite start his 2-2 super fast either, but regardless, he's still going to be much ahead in that regard. So Trigger will need to make sure he doesn't kind of just lose out on the overall unit scaling, but the splash is, of course, what is going to be doing the big brunt of the damage, essentially, in these engagements.
Right. It's been a very quiet game outside of that storm drop here. You know, since that push failed, ByuN has basically just gone back and played single player here.
I mean, he has to.
But, you know, we're getting to the point where both armies are going to be maxing out, and that should be when, you know, the punches start to be thrown here. Terran just continuing to scan here and kind of monitor the pacing at which Trigger's growing. Trigger's now getting into a 5th base.
Yeah, he's definitely putting himself pretty nicely into a longer game. I'm very curious why ByuN is kind of sitting with that drop for so long. I mean, he set that up for, like, forever ago at this point. Obviously, he's waiting for the most opportune moment when he knows that Trigger is out on the map, but I'm just surprised that he set it up that early. I feel like that's a pretty big gamble if he just kind of gets attacked at any point in time before that. It's like, well, now that's just half your army that's just sitting on the other side of the map, which I guess he would then just, you know, boost into the main and attempt a pseudo base race style thing. But regardless, it's just been sitting there this whole time, is still yet to do anything. I mean, Trigger is out on the map at this point, so maybe now is
I would argue it's a good thing. Like he's got that supply there. He's ready for that opportune moment, ready for Trigger to come into a fight. Once he does, then ByuN should actually boost into the main or the 3rd.
Okay, Trigger's moving down now. He wants to hit the 6 o'clock spot.
Okay, both armies are maxed.
This is a maxed out Protoss army versus a maxed out Terran army. The question is, how will ByuN deal with the splash?
Show CMPs.
Stim comes in. He's going to try to shimmy the Colossus over to the front.
Ooh.
And he's got the Immortals over here in the front as well. The whole formation's
There's
looking pretty
2
good.
Templar left. Ooh, nice
The
storm.
storm is ridiculous on that bio army. The dance was pretty good from ByuN up until that point, but Trigger also doing a great job of keeping his Colossi back. Now ByuN going in with the drop, waiting with that for so long. Another
EMP lands.
going off onto those Templar, but
Not
the
bad.
Vikings honestly getting
there's more
splashed
storm.
by the Archons and some reinforcing Templars.
Yeah, too many storms
will force
coming
this
in.
back, and that base does get killed off, but on the back end, this 3rd is also looking like it's going to get sniped. But the question is, can ByuN even hold this
the
army?
V-Rex
Because
EMP,
it's just looking
but there's still
ridiculous
more
in
Templar.
size.
Yeah, there's still more Templar in the back line.
Here. I mean, I don't know that the Protoss
Storms
army
are coming
can be
in.
stopped right now. He is just rampaging through this base. Now, getting the kill on that Nexus is huge.
Can he break through? He's pushing in.
Is that if
Show us the main
Trigger is
fight.
not
Show us the main
stopped over
fight.
in this
Oh, the
position here,
storm.
the whole game's going to end and Terran's going to lose.
Yeah, no, that is a great engagement coming in from
Yeah,
Trigger.
lands
He
a
wasn't really
storm.
paying attention on the Templar back
No
at all, but it's
Vikings.
because he
No
was
Vikings, no
destroying
anti-air.
armies.
The Colossus, they just rain down on the army, and Trigger, he's done it.
In the late game, I've seen him do this before with mixed success, but this time it looks like it's working very well to have a really solid
Oh, the
backbone
boys.
to the army.
Gets
We'll
one of
be
the
able to
Colossus, there's
actually,
still 2.
slowly kill off some of these units as the units come back from the
Nice
top.
round. Okay.
An unexpected flank coming in from ByuN, losing 46 workers, but will clean up the army. Is this actually enough? I feel like this is going to just be a rinse and repeat for Trigger because that is massive economic damage.
I mean, 46 workers were killed in that. So right now it's 71 probes mining for Trigger. It's 35 for ByuN. So make no mistake, ByuN is in terrible shape. I mean, he survives the attack. He needs to counterattack because if he doesn't get any value here, I mean, Trigger is going to balloon up into 200 supply again and just come in here and smash him. But I don't know, man. This is going to be a real Hail Mary play.
The armies are about to clash.
For ByuN.
Yeah, he's really putting all of his cards in this attack. Everything is being rallied across the map.
As they're pointing out, ByuN's basically all in. Like, ByuN, he's all in. He has to do damage with this. He has to break an expansion. He has to break an army. He has to break something.
stimmed Marauders to try and poke up at this Colossus. You can see this ridiculous Prism Micro up until the point
Storm
where he
connects.
doesn't do it, but that's okay. Was keeping it alive for quite a while at that point, but the Storms are able to kind of bail him out at that point. And yeah, so ByuN obviously at such a terrible economic position, but he still does have one of those bases. Is that actually being remade, or is that, I think that's actually on position. So Mules will be able to still keep him alive for now economically with some of these SCVs coming back in. So his army still looks pretty threatening overall. It's still large in size. So Trigger still has to kind of respect this. He can't just assume that he's going to walk over the game after killing all those SCVs.
Second Robo here, coming down. ByuN has, remade some of those workers. He's still very, very low. 46 is painful. Obviously, Terran has mules, so they can get some extra money that way. But yeah, let's see what happens. I think Trigger's maxed out now, so it would make sense for him to try to move.
It's one of those things where Trigger, he should just be backing off, remaxing, attacking again, trading out against workers, trading out against the army, and then just keep going, just keep going, just keep trading, keep remaxing, and just never allow ByuN to recover.
Making sure you don't just
that should be the plan.
Storms to a big EMP. It's not the easiest thing in the world, as maybe some Terran players would like to disagree, but there's the Storm onto the Fat Army as well. Nice EMP onto that. Trying to go for a Zealot drop on the right side. That was a bit ambitious from Trigger. Nothing really to happen there, but nice micro overall
he's
from
holding.
ByuN to keep
We
this
spoke about
army
it. It is still difficult to break a defending player here on Tokamak.
At this point, his army, like I said, still very large, and since he lost so many SCVs prior, now his army is much larger in size. He's able to fill this out with a larger army, doesn't have as many SCVs taking up his overall supply count, so that will still be very threatening as the EMPs continue to go up on this army. And now the engagement is looking pretty decent for ByuN, as all of the Colossi, all of the Templar are getting killed, but now the Zealots are the main threat on the ground.
Oh, my god.
Just clips off that Marauder there at the end. I don't know, that went pretty poorly actually for Trigger. I think ByuN might be able to fight back, and I don't know that this army can actually get away.
Yeah, he's going to try to go for the chase at this point. The Disruptor,
as I mentioned, Trigger, he overextended, he lost the War Prism, he lost the Colossus, he needs Disruptors, he needs Storm.
This ramp as well, 3 pickoffs for ByuN.
He needs to spend his money.
Steamrolling across the map to try and capitalize on that incredible engagement. Really, you kind of just saw how much larger the army was from ByuN, but now Trigger trying to, again, jump on this, using another Disruptor shot, getting a few units here and there, and the Vikings just getting left to nothing on the right-hand side will be a bit useless at this point. And ByuN is starting to lose a little bit of steam. These medevacs are also super low on energy. He needs to be very careful about these follow-up engages.
So we've seen this before. The Viking count just got reset. Now we see Trigger doing what? Colossus. Colossus is being rebuilt. There is 0 anti-air. Sorry, I should say there's 1 Viking. There's 1 Viking here for ByuN.
This army lacks this
very low Viking count.
You don't have the Colossi with it yet. I don't see Templars with this either, although you can probably pocket that in a Warp Prism. But ByuN is surviving. Trigger maxes out again. ByuN here at 154 supply. He's back up to 50 workers now.
This is also looking very good for Trigger on the upgrades. I was saying earlier that he was quite behind in that regard and that ByuN had a good moment with that. But now, since he's forced ByuN into such a bad economic position, he's forced to use all of his resources on units. He's had to skip his 3-3 upgrades until just now, and even that, he's only getting his +3 attack, not armor. So now Trigger has gotten the 3-3 finish. That's going to be really good for him in these engagements. But this is kind of similar to that last series they played in the groups, because it was really Trigger not able to get solid engagements over and over again. This time, oh my god, a nice last-second pickup to make sure they dodge those units. But unfortunately, that last Disruptor shot does finally get a connection, as the rest of the units coming from the top side getting jumped on by Trigger. And like I was saying before, the engagements aren't really super efficient from Trigger. He's bleeding out units here and there. He's getting a lot of EMPs onto his army. This is very similar to that one crazy game they had in the first group stage, where really Trigger just had the whole map but took forever to actually close it because the engages kept just going ByuN's way with the efficiency.
I would disagree with the tail end of this, just because over the past 2 fights, Trigger has been out-trading ByuN. Like, he has been out-trading him. And again, Trigger has a better economy, so he can afford to be inefficient anyway. And right now, do you see how many Vikings? How many Vikings, Pappy? 0. The Colossus are here.
Baiting out these Disruptor shots.
Trigger, he can just push in.
Making sure they don't find any actual good connections. How many storms do we have? It looks like only maybe 2 or 3 in this fight, so 1 EMP could knock all of that out.
Viking production has begun.
Is completely non-existent though, so the Colossus switch back is very nice from Trigger. Good splits as well from ByuN to make sure these disruptors don't hit. They've not really been finding too much damage overall until just now, again, getting a nice ghost and a couple marauders. Those
Only
are
3
really
ghosts left, barely any EMPs. As you mentioned, like Trigger, he has been trading very well these past couple of fights, and he's been sniping so many ghosts, and ByuN can't afford to replace them.
It's like all about this fourth base. So basically, this entire game comes down to if ByuN can keep the Protoss off of his back. If Trigger wins one fight, he's going to kill the base, and he's going to win the game. And Trigger is, by the way, massive on the map. There's so many bases.
Oh, that disruptor shot.
Oh my god, that was so clutch.
Before they can actually land. ByuN, nice on the target fire, able to deny that, but now the SCV is getting massacred yet again on the back line. 50 of them died earlier, 14 of them dying now, as ByuN is trying to push the issue, realizing that the army is a bit spent with all those disruptors and Templar getting killed off, but he's losing bases all over the place at this point as Trigger continues to expand to the top left of the map.
I mean, ByuN is barely alive right now. I gotta say, that was just brutal what Trigger did. He just he had this small counterattack, and he just like kept taking only convenient fights as he retreated. Because he's like, all right, well, this is just getting me further ahead at this point in time. And eventually he's going to pull this army back here where he has to defend. Again,
yeah, ByuN is getting forced back home. ByuN is down to a 1-base economy.
In the game right now.
Yeah,
One
that's
base.
wild. He's really just on absolute nothing at this point. Look at the income grab for Trigger. That is just ridiculous. Has been completely outmassing. Walking through that storm as well from ByuN. Unfortunately, losing a lot there, and he's just going to realize it's a lost cause. Trigger will 3-1 ByuN, repeating his success from the groups.
Doing a little trigonometry back there.
Whoa, ooh, that was a sick joke.
How long was he holding on to that one?
Great series. ByuN unable to kind of keep up there. Trigger, in some ways, making it look very easy. You know, for me, that's my favorite approach from the Protoss is the 2-base into Storm, into getting Colossus later, into getting Disruptors, and it's kind of like, I don't know, you figure out how to kill me. You know what I mean?
This is your problem.
This is your problem. I'm gonna be back here defending.
So they're kind of glossing over it. As a reminder, GG well played. Trigger, he did go for a charge base opener this game, and we spoke about it. We tried to emphasize it. Going for charge, you're heavily reliant, as a Protoss player, you're heavily reliant that a Terran player is going to be pushing into you with a tank-based move out. And ByuN went for it. ByuN, he went for his tank push at the 3rd base, if you remember, and Trigger, I'm sure he was like, whew, thank God, because he did exactly what he was hoping for. He shut down the tank push. He gained momentum early on. He was able to contain his opponent. He shut down the early aggression. The Banshees, remember, was shut down. They did not get enough damage. So really shaky early game out of ByuN, losing his harassment, his mind drops, his Banshees, and the tank push as well. So early on, Trigger took a lead. Trigger, he gained momentum and took a lead early on, and he never lost it. This is a very momentum-based matchup. We speak about this all the time at TVP. If you get a lead early on, it is difficult to lose that lead. It's difficult to recover after taking some early game damage in this matchup. It goes both ways for both Protoss and for Terran. It is definitely one of the things that a lot of players are vocal about as well, about how unforgiving TVP can be, 100%. And we saw that from then. I mean, again, ByuN, he had lost map control, he was behind, he was trying to recover, struggling to do so, and we saw that Trigger was going to be the first to max out, the first to trade, and he ensured that ByuN was never able to really keep up economically, army-wise, in any which way against Trigger. GG well played. Thankfully, Trigger wasn't too passive. If he was too passive, if he was a little bit too focused on his own economy or his own tech, then ByuN might have been able to recover, but Trigger, he was very aggressive, very active. As soon as he had the army, he was very in the face of ByuN. GG, well played. Congratulations, ByuN, he's out. ByuN is out of the tournament, and Trigger is going to continue his road into the next round, into the next set of matches, which will be, I believe, tomorrow.
Figure out what dates we can get this video. There's one we're looking at right now. I'm not going to say where because we might look at another one, change our minds. All right, we're kind of making these venues all kind of fight for us here. But we'll have those dates, so if you want to buy a ticket and fly in, you can see it if you're living in Korea. Yeah, come on down.
As they're pointing out, of course, we have 3 seasons of RSL, and we have the offline finals.
Because I think a lot of people, they watch live StarCraft out here, and it's always, They make you wear headsets in
Yeah,
GSL to
yeah.
hear me.
They give you the
Not
little radio.
anymore, nation of Korea.
The foreigners have taken
That's
over.
right, the foreigners are here. No, it'll be broadcast in English. That'll be cool. I think it might be the first event we've ever done that for in Korea. It just occurred to me when I was in the venue. I'm like, oh, we could just pipe out the English.
Yeah. Super sick.
Anyways, guys, we are sponsored by Archon Studio. They're the official partner of the RSL. They're making the StarCraft tabletop miniatures game. You want this.
When it comes to the rest of us here on the CranKy Ducklings, we just wrapped up. We just wrapped up with our initial broadcast of the day. But when it comes to the rest of our schedule, bam, I got you covered. Here we have the rest of our schedule. We're here on Saturday. Saturday, we just wrapped up with RSL, and we're going to be going live with Maestros of the Game. That is going to be in 1 hour. In 1 hour, we're going to be live once again with, this time we're going to be observing ourselves. This time we're going to be in the games themselves, and we're going to be covering Maestros of the Game. Who is playing tonight? That is a good question. I believe tonight is going to be 4 best of 5s. An actual broadcast. 4 best of 5s, not 2. It's going to be Showtime versus Classic, Clem versus Hero, Cyril versus Bunny, and Reynor versus Zaun. It's going to be an intense bracket. Intense matches are going to be ahead of us here, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We'll hold off on talking about those series until we get into it, of course. So again, do consider tuning in 1 hour's time. Again, we're going to be covering that in English, of course, here on the CranKy Ducklings. Tomorrow's going to be the same. Tomorrow's going to be more RSL into Maestros of the Game. That is the plan. That is the plan here for this week. Otherwise, thanks so much. Thank you so much for watching. You can support us via Patreon. You can support the RSL via Patreon as well. We do plan on co-streaming the entirety of the playoff bracket of RSL. So for every playoff day, we should be there to cast or to co-stream in English. We'll be there. We'll be there for the RSL. Otherwise, I'm going to go quickly freshen up. And get ready for tonight's broadcast of Maestros of the Game. The stream is going to be going down, and we'll be back in an hour. We will be back in an hour's time. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for tuning in. And stick around. We're going to be giving another StarCraft streamer a raid. I would raid Trigger. I know Trigger, he's live right now playing Osu, but tell him to ladder. Tell him to... God damn it. Who else is live at the moment? Let's have a look. Let us have a look here. El Chanchito? Piggy's still in Europe. Okay, for those who don't know, Pig, he went to Europe for Wardy's wedding, but it looks like he's still there. We'll give him some love. Yeah, we'll give him some love. Chanchito. We'll give him some love. So thanks for watching, thanks for the support, and we'll see you guys in an hour's time for Maestros of the Game. See you soon, Pappy. See you soon. Oh.